Actually, 4 months after you came out to my company, I had the best month of my career. I sold $230,000 in.
I need 2 homeowners up here. One homeowner that I'm going to present roofing to, and one homeowner that I'm going to present solar to. Which would only leave you with one resulting card, and what card would that be?
5.
5 of diamonds. Now if you go to that card deck and you pick up the first deck of the card, okay, and tell me what card that is. You see, this isn't a magic trick, guys.
All right, baby, here we are. It is game day. We are here in Atlanta, Georgia. We are going to be selling some salesmen on selling, but this one's just going to be a little bit different. And the reason why is because I genuinely believe we have the ability to change these people's lives forever with the way that they think. They're going to program, reprogram, and it's going to be a movie, baby. Let's go meet them.
Awesome. I'm so glad to be here with all of you guys today. Woo! Are you guys feeling? Yeah! Let's go! We're going to bring the energy, and I'm going to tell you the statement of today's training. I'm going to deliver the best training I've ever delivered in my entire life. Some say there are no secrets in sales. Well, I completely disagree with that. And there's a lot of secrets that we're going to expose today. However, we each have a challenge. This is very important that you guys understand what I'm about to say. The challenge for me is to give you guys these aha moments, the light bulbs that go on in your mind. The challenge for you is to program this information into your minds. People need to stop checking their Facebook and they need to start facing their checkbook because this is the year you guys are going to make it. And you're going to make your family proud. It's the year where you're going to set up your kids' lives, your grandkids' lives, your entire future. But the main thing that we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to give you an analogy, and I'm going to have a lot of participation today. If I was to look at a regular-looking tree, how many leaves are on a tree? Thousands. Lots. How many branches are on a tree? A lot. Pretty good amount, right? But less than the leaves. How many trunks are there on a tree? One. There's one trunk on a tree. And everything that I'm going to train on today is going to come back to this one thing, which is the trunk of the tree. And that's called reverse thinking. Thinking opposite. When others go left, I'm going right. You see, rejection turns me on. I'm amused by all style people. I never see failure as failure, but only as a game that I must play to win. And what you're going to get today is these aha moments to think differently, but it's up to you, because all I'm going to do is I'm going to expose you the information of what I've learned over my 17-year journey as a sales professional. Everything that I'm going to teach you is not based on a theory, not something that I read in a book, but things that I learned from my experience of being in the field as a professional trick-or-treater. Right? But here's the thing, is what is a salesperson?
Service.
Conviction, right? Somebody said it. He must have already said it, someone that's here. We should have never been called salespeople at the beginning, and that's the first thing that you're going to start thinking differently on. You guys should have been called servants. You see, the benefit of somebody that can serve is they serve, they educate, and they convene. And we have the ability to go out and do that. So before I get into the workbook, because there is a lot that we need to cover today. Like I said, it's going to take you guys to absolutely tap into your brains today and be absolutely locked in. So who's ready to be locked in? I want you to say lock in on 3. 1, 2, 3. Lock in, baby. We're about to lock in, and the whole goal is to give you guys way more than you expect. When I first met Tom Hopkins, how many of you guys have ever heard of Tom Hopkins or have read the book How to Master the Art of Selling? Okay, Tom Hopkins is my mentor. It's like the Bible of sales. When I was 23 years old, I was interviewed by Grant Cardone on one of his shows called Power Players. This was 10 years ago. Tom had saw that and said, hey, I want you to come to my house in Arizona and I want you to speak at my seminar. I'm pacing in my room because this was the individual that I used to listen to on my Zoom. If you guys remember what Zooms are, or the old iPods, that's the individual that I learned from. I flew to Arizona. I said, Tom, what would be the best 3 pieces of advice that you would give me? I'm sitting there at a Thai restaurant, and what he told me changed my life. These are aha moments that can change your life. The first thing that he told me was, Taylor, we must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. This is something that I say to myself on a daily basis. Taylor, am I doing the most productive thing at every given moment? I ask myself, am I the strobe light or am I the laser beam? You see, I had a 1.8 GPA in high school, right? My teachers didn't think I was very smart, but I look at the periodic table, I'm like, bro, I'm never going to need to know this information. What's the incident number 6? I look at the kid to the right of me. The things that you're about to learn, I'm going to break it down to the absolute ridiculous. What does a strobe light do? On and off, right? I'm in the zone, I'm out of the zone. I'm in the zone, I'm out of the zone. What does a laser beam do? Razor sharp. So when you notice you're getting off track and not doing the most productive thing possible at every given moment, ask yourself, whoa, I'm strobe lighting, gotta get back on track. Small little things that you can say to your mind to actually pivot the direction that you move in. The second thing that he told me was, Taylor, you must do what you fear most. You must do what you fear most. Fear is false evidence appearing real. That's what fear is. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. What got you here will not get you there. And the third thing that he taught me was the best piece of advice I've ever received in my entire life. Tom Hopkins was taught by an individual named J. Douglas Edwards. If you don't know that name, you should write it down. J. Douglas Edwards is known as the father of modern-day selling. He is the best sales trainer that I've ever listened to. He taught Tom everything that Tom knew, and Tom taught me everything that I know. But J. Douglas Edwards used to do seminars like this. He did 70 seminars in a matter of 75 days. And he was at the seminar, and Tom was always a front row guy who's happened to be in the back of the room, and Mr. Edwards is absolutely ripping. He's up on stage, and he passes out, falls down. They call an ambulance. They grab him. They put him on a stretcher. Tom grabs a cab. He said, follow that ambulance. Follows him to the hospital. He's waiting in the waiting room. Finally goes in to Mr. Edwards' room, and he said, I have a question for you. Why do you give so much? And his response will stick with me the rest of my life, and I hope that it sticks with you. He said, the reason why I give so much is because I always want to give other people way more than they expect. And that is what my goal is here with you guys today. So if I was to give you guys way more than you expected today and share all of my secrets, are you guys ready to actually program the information up to the most powerful computer that there is, which is your brain?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's get this underway. So we're going to talk about the practicing professional. But before I do that, I'm going to ask you, what is a salesperson? If I was to go to the outside world and I went to the grocery store and I went to aisle 5 and I went to a woman and I said, hey, what do you think of salespeople? What do you think she's going to say? Right, all these words. What if I went down that same aisle and I said, hey, what do you think of door-to-door sales? 96% of people do not like salesmen. The thing is, we were mislabeled in the beginning. I'm not a salesman. I'm not selling you anything. I'm here to serve. I'm here to educate. I'm here to convene you. I'm an assistant buyer, actually. The top salesmen shine with conviction. They have an absolute catching belief about the product, their service, their company, their offer. They know that they can help somebody. And that's the way that I start my day. I know that I can help them, and I'm very passionate about what I do. The definition of passion is anger and love. Okay? Actually caring about what you do, why you're doing it, but more importantly is who you're doing this for. When I was 18 years old, before I was 18 years old, I was a golf caddy. Did anybody ever golf caddy in here before? Okay, so I used to carry 2 golf bags, and I used to earn $60, and that's the way that I earned income for myself. And at 18 years old, I realized that I could acquire and develop a skill set that could create income and wealth for myself for the rest of my life. But here's the thing, okay? I talked about a practicing professional. Can somebody give me an example of a professional? What is a professional like? What type of professionals are they? Doctors, athletes, lawyers, dentists, or these are professionals. Roofers. What is a lawyer call their office?
Practice.
Their what was it?
Practice.
Their practice. You see, that's the common denominator with every professional. They are practicing professionals. Now you see, if I was to take all of the athletes' income, the doctors, the lawyers, the dentists, and I was to combine those, the sales individual out-earns all of the others combined. But there's one thing that the sales professional is lacking compared to all these other professions. This is the one thing that sales professionals lack. The one thing that the sales professional lacks is the willingness to actually pay the price that it takes to be the professional. Effort, learning, time investment, dedicated sacrifice. Next to the word success should be the word sacrifice. There's a lot of sacrifice along this journey, or as like Tom likes to refer to it as the continuous journey towards the achievements of predetermined worthwhile goals. So, what we're going to break down, and like I said, the trunk of the tree is getting you to think differently. I want to be blunt with you guys right now. I think we have the ability to not just change the way that you think today, or this week, or this month, but for the rest of your life. That is what my goal is today, is to help you think completely different than you've ever thought before. And it's the same way that when you approach a homeowner, that your goal is to help them think differently. If you tend to sound like every other door-to-door salesman that knocked on their door, people will tend not to listen to you. You see, people react to the range of my voice, the volume, the pace, and the diction, even when they don't understand the words. By a show of hands, how many of you guys are under 1 year in the field of sales as a professional? 1 year, under 1 year. Anybody over 2 years, over 3 years, over 5 years, over 10 years, over 15 years, over 16 years, over 17 years, 18, 19, 20, 21. Bro, I got beat today, you know? Usually it's not like that, but how many years?
28. 5 now.
Wow, give it up for them, right? He decides to come here and learn. That's the difference between the average people and the top people. The more that you learn, the more that you know that you need to learn. Okay? I've been a professional trick-or-treater for 17 years. How many of you guys are under 20 years old? Anybody under 20 in here? Anybody under 25? Anybody under 22? How old are you? He's 20 years old. This kid was 3 years old when I started knocking doors, and you weren't even alive when you started dating. So it's perspective today. Let's get into it. The success triangle for the practicing professional. There's 3 specific things that I would tell you to focus on if you want to get really good. And you're just writing notes right now. We haven't even gotten into the workbook. The 3 things that I want you to understand is your technique, your attitude, and your behavior. And we are going to move fast today. That's why I said you have to use your brains, because there is so much that we have to cover in today's training. Technique is the words that come out of your mouth. If your tactics are sound, they can't fight you. What I'm about to say will change the way you think right now. Reverse thinking. People are not buying from you because they understand what you're saying. They buy because they feel understood. People are not buying from you because they understand what's coming out of your mouth. It's because they feel understood.
not to build theories into them, but to build tactics into them. And you build tactics only one way. Practice, drill, rehearse. There is no other way.
Practice does not make perfect, only perfect practice makes perfect. You have to memorize, you need to practice, you need to drill, and you need to rehearse. In the keynote, we're going to go over the 5 steps to being able to learn everything. But right now, all I'm doing is I'm exposing you this information. That's it. You're just being exposed to it. You need to hear, read, write, and say something 6 times to gain 62% of that retention. Now, if I was to ask you guys, how would you define sales? What would you say?
Somebody that solves the problem rather than pushes the product.
Somebody that solves a problem instead of pushes a product. Great.
The transfer of pain into a vision.
The transfer of pain into a vision. If there's no pain, it will never change. How many of you guys ever walked with a pebble in your shoe? Right? And it's annoying, but you keep walking with it. What if you turn that pain of the pebble into a glass shard? Are you going to take another step? No, you got to create a pain if you want to create a change. How would you guys define sales? Someone in the back. How would you define sales?
Self-belief.
Self-belief. Okay, great. All great answers. For me, sales is an art of blending complete opposites. This is what it is broken down to the ridiculous. Sales is the art of blending complete opposites. You're blending opposites. What I do during my sales presentation is I'm constantly weaving between these opposites. The first thing that you have to understand is communication and persuasion. Communication is not what I say, it's not how I say it, it's how I can make them feel. Persuasion is asking the right questions to solve these families' problems. People think persuasion is a bad thing. Persuasion is not a bad thing. It's asking the questions to solve these families' problems, to serve, and to help them into a better situation. That's what sales is, the art of blending complete opposites, communication and persuasion. Now, who knows the only objection that you face as a sales professional? There's only one objection everybody faces in here. Trust. Right? It's like having a cell phone with no service. All you can really do is play games. I'm not here to play games, sir, so level with me. How much of what I said do you actually believe? Having one-liners that you understand and reflex up here. If somebody fully trusts me 100%, do you think that they're going to do business with me?
Yes.
They can fully trust you and fully like you, but there's one other thing that I need to earn. If I don't earn this, they don't do business with you.
Respect.
Respect. You have to earn their trust, but you also have to earn their respect. Perception is a very important part of serving families. How do they perceive you? Do they perceive you as the professional, or do they perceive you as somebody that, just somebody that they just, okay to form, and then they're like, I really don't know what's going to happen here. So earning their trust, but also earning their respect. You see, I'm aggressive, but I'm kind. I'm assertive, but I'm nice. And the new one that I came up with to be a really good sales professional is you have to be egotistically humble. We're going to talk a little bit about ego today. The difference between ego drive and ego destruct, the way that you think. Question right here? Gotcha, Rob. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so these are the opposites that we have to blend, to be that sales professional and to create the decision. Second thing we're going to talk about is attitude, okay? A salesman, I want you to think about this, a salesman is first off a man that can sell himself to himself. A salesman is first off a man or a woman that can sell themselves to themselves. They have an absolute catching belief about themselves, their product, their service, their company. What are these two pictures of? These are two reception areas, okay? Why does any practicing professional spend so much money on a reception area? Why would a doctor put a nice aquarium in the waiting room? Why do they do that? Reception. Okay. Okay, question for you. Have you ever been to Wyoming? Okay, Wyoming. You're in Wyoming. and you're there by yourself, it's 1 a.m., you feel wicked sick, you're like, bro, there's no doctor, you're searching for a hospital, there's no hospital, there's a doctor's office, and you're like, okay, let me go to this doctor's office. You're driving down this dirt road, you pull onto the street, there's this creepy light, there's these stairs, you go up there, and the office furniture looks like that. What would you think going into that office? But my question to you is, technically, could the doctor be the greatest doctor in the world? Could he? Yeah. But you perceiving it at the beginning is you'd rather go to that reception than this reception area. Okay? So let me explain to you what happens. Okay? You're in the field. You start knocking. 1 or 2 hours gets into it. People will like, get the heck out of here. Right? Someone else knocked over, right? So this is what I'm doing. I'm in the field. 3 hours into it, I start believing what they say to me. This is what I do in the middle of the day. That's what you're doing. You're messing up all of your furniture in your reception area. Like I said, a salesman is first off a man that can sell himself to himself. When do you think a sales professional is more contagious than any other time? Right after he gets a sale. What I'm about to do and tell you is another thing that's going to help you reverse thing. Stop focusing on all the things that you do wrong and start focusing on all the things you do right. Stop right now, immediately. Stop focusing on all the things that you do wrong. Only focus on the things that you do right, because that's the way you can build yourself as a sales professional. You go to coaches, you go to leaders, you go to managers to actually help you improve. But stop focusing on all the things you do wrong, because what is a salesman's reception area? What is the salesman's reception area? It's his mind. It's the way that you envision yourself. Right? Do you envision yourself like a championship fighter that you know that you're going to win the fight before you walk in there, or are you scared? I don't ever think, hey, am I going to sell today? That never comes through my mind. I also don't tie my success to the amount of sales that I make or the amount of transactions that I, produce. I tie my success to the activity and the effort that I put in on a day-to-day basis. You want to go out and do your best sales month ever next month, or you want to have your best sales week in the next week? Don't set a goal as a number. Set a goal as the hours that you're going to commit to the field. Commit to the activity and watch what happens. Visualize what you want, and then you start to verbalize it. Get haters. Get people to say that you can't do it, right? That's like huge gasoline for me, right? I love people that doubt me. I love that because it's just gasoline for my tank. When I'm in competitions, I set the background of the person that I'm going up against as the background of my cell phone. Right? I'm in a homeowner, they're like, this album's probably not like that. Against this guy in a competition, right? Take a look at his face, I gotta beat him. And that's why any practicing professional spends so much money on a reception area. But here's the thing, there's going to be negative people that come into your life. There's going to be people that come through that try to bring you down. The best thing that I ever heard when I was 18 years old was decisions would decide my wealth, and I needed to maintain an even keel. How many of you guys have ever had your highs get way too high, your lows get way too low, and you made an emotional decision? Everybody that is not raising your hand, please tell me the secret, because it happens to every single one of us. We've all made emotional decisions. I was in Flint, Michigan, and I passed a church that says, he who angers you control.
But when people are around you that are negative, I like to play this game that Tom Hopkins taught me. It's called the zip-zip game. Right? It works like this. Zip, zip, zip. I am now in my positive shell. Okay? Did not learn it from me. You can do it around your friends, but you do it around your spouse, I'm not taking responsibility for that one.
Better be more than a positive shell, she's got it.
So, the idea is that you, as the professional, can perfect your technique, your attitude, which is what's programmed up here, and your actual behavior of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, okay? That's the most important ingredient, is the behavior of what you do on a day-to-day basis. You can have unbelievable technique, you can have a great attitude, but you need to have a behavior of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. What you guys do occasionally will change nothing every single time. The main thing is to keep the main thing, okay? Very small, but very important information. All right, so that's what we call the zip-zip game. Everything that you guys do off of the doors needs to be to get you into the groove when you're on the doors. All the things that you're doing, like, Eric talked about, right? Becoming the best version of yourself. You have to work harder on yourself than you do at your job. Who remembers this guy, right?
It's easy to talk about. It's easy to sum it up when you just talk about practice. We sitting here, I'm supposed to be a franchise player, and we in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we're talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We're talking about practice.
We're talking about practice here. Right? Practice does not make perfect. It's that perfect practice that makes that perfect. Now, this is a formula. I'd probably take out your phones to take a picture of this one. But clarity is where it starts with your entire process of being a great sales professional. The clarity creates the conviction creates the belief creates the energy creates the repetition creates service, your service creates your life's work, and your life's work creates freedom. That's why you guys are all working so hard, is because of freedom. You want to know the two greatest motivators of all? Anybody want to take a guess of one of the greatest motivators that we have as human beings?
Pain.
Pain? Okay, good try. What was it? Family. All great answers. Fear. The two greatest motivators is the need to be comfortable, to get to that next level of comfort in your life. And the second highest motivator is the need to be challenged. Is to have somebody that says, hey, I'm going to go prove it to you. Or say, hey, I'm going to put my last name on my back, and I'm going to show you what I'm made of. Those are the two greatest motivators, is the need to be comfortable and the need to be challenged. But the two greatest demotivators is burnout and boredom. You see, if I'm way too challenged and the anxiety raises more than the certainty, I'm going to eventually get burnt out. If I'm way too comfortable, I'm eventually going to get bored. Too many people are living in constant conflict. They strive for all these motivators like money, achievement, recognition, self-acceptance, acceptance from others. They want all these things in their life. But they're being held down or almost paralyzed because they're in a situation where they're only focusing on the demotivators, like self-doubt. So many people are suffering from self-doubt while others are intimidated by your full potential. It's up to you to make that decision. That decision that you make will ultimately decide your wealth. The clarity is going to create the freedom in the end.
The day you turn pro is the day you realize that attitude in selling is everything. Attitude is something that...
All right, that's Tommy on a video, but having some problems up here, so. You can just go to the next video, or go to the next slide if you can. There we go. All right, so that's a video. It's fires me up, but it talks about the attitude of a professional. The next thing I want to share with you guys are the most important things that I learned along my entire journey. And this was 17 years where I looked at, hey, what were the most important things that I learned? In roofing, I was fortunate enough to do 114 full signatures, full claims in an 11-day period. Solar was 74 sales in 30 days. And in alarms, it was 45 in 6 days. It was because I was completely myopic. I had absolutely zero distractions. You see, I don't work, I play a game. When your work can become a game in your sport, somebody asked me the other day, they're like, what's your favorite sport to play? I said, door-to-door sales. Right, that's the sport that I love to play. Number one, people do not quit companies, they quit leadership. Do business with people you want to do life with. Number two, the three most important things for me in any business relationship is trust, loyalty, and longevity. You have to be fully aligned in your mission and what you're doing. Number three, first comes the action, then comes the motivation. It's a lot easier to act and then wait to feel than wait to feel and then decide to act. First you move and then you have the power. You See, these are aha moments, guys, that if you can learn to program them into your mind, it's going to shift the way that you think. It's going to make a serious difference on your income and you as a sales professional. You have to visualize for inspiration, but then you need to verbalize for the execution. Muhammad Ali says, I'm humble at home, but I'm not humble in the ring. Conor McGregor says, if somebody has the courage to go out and speak what they want to accomplish, a lot of the goals that I set, I don't believe that I can hit them at the very beginning. I think they're almost impossible to hit. And then as I start the goal, as I start working towards it, it becomes easier. You shouldn't be setting goals that you know that you can hit. You should be setting goals that scare you, right? Do what you fear most. Number 5 is you have to play a game, have fun, watch the scoreboard. If you ignore the scoreboard's going to ignore you every single time. Number 6, you have to include your family on the journey. This one is big. If you're doing it all out there by yourself, it can be lonely sometimes. Salespeople are the only people that face rejection on a day-to-day basis. We're the only creature that faces rejection every single day. But guess what? 99% of people can't do what we do because they don't have it up here. And that's where it starts. Number 7, you have to have temporary imbalance if you want to get ahead. You know, it's not fun to be able to sometimes be on these blitzes, but it's the most fulfilling thing. Number 8, you have to have research and development with what you're doing. I always like to say play chess, not checkers. Always thinking 2 moves ahead in what you're doing with your life and your business. Number 9, communication is what's going to keep the vision a reality. The communication with yourself. Who's the first person that you need to lead?
You.
Yourself, right? First level of leadership, you have to lead yourself. Number 10 is vulnerability. Vulnerability is the birthplace to innovation, guys. Right? Being vulnerable and understanding your weak spots and becoming the best version of yourself. So what is closing? What is closing? If I said, what is closing? Broken down to the ridiculous. I asked you what sales was. What do you think closing is? See, when I explain this to you, you're going to start thinking differently. Closing is the symphony of words that culminates in a win-win final decision for the homeowner, but the short version is all closing is creating the decision. That's what closing is broken down to the ridiculous. No single close is ever going to give you a close. People buy emotionally and they defend their decision with logic. Anybody in here like boxing? Okay, who's your favorite boxer?
Marcos Maidana.
Okay, Marcos Maidana. Did Marcos Maidana usually get his knockout just from coming in the ring and throwing one punch, or how did he usually get his knockouts?
Throwing a punch in the person's face.
Okay, so there's a word I'm looking for that starts with the letter C. Combination, right? They usually throw multiple combinations to set up that big punch. And it's the same way in sales. Most buyers, you're going to take 5 or 6 times for them to say no before they get to a yes. J. Douglas Edwards said the reason there's so many mediocrity and the reason there's so many peons in the business of sales is because people only know 1 or 2 ways to close a sale or 1 or 2 ways to break preoccupation. And they go to that one, so do you want to move to the next step? And they wonder why they don't get the sale. We talk about the practicing professional at the beginning. Too many people are procrastinating right now. When you procrastinate, you ruin your future, you avoid the present, and you live in the past. That's what procrastination is broken down to the ridiculous. Procrastination is ruining your future, avoiding the present, and living in the past. So when we procrastinate, we're ruining our future. We're avoiding the past. And we're living in the past. Good. All right, someone almost got it in the back. So that's what closing is. How do we create this emotional decision? You guys are now going to open up your workbooks. And the first page is going to be something that I want you to take home and actually break down. There's bubbles on exactly how you would rate yourself as a salesman. For time's sake, I want you to skip that page, and we're going to go right into the ABCs of selling, okay? These are the fundamentals, and like I said, we are going to move fast because there is a lot that we need to cover today. So this is breaking it down to the ridiculous. Starts with your A. What did we talk about at the beginning?
Attitude.
Attitude, good. It begins with the ability to handle failure and rejection. You see, I never see failure as failure, but but only as the opportunity to be turned on by rejection and to be amused by hostile people. It's the way that you think. Not, oh, damn, he told me no, he got upset at me, right? I just say, hey, everyone's been super friendly to me. Thank you so much, sir. God bless. You know? I've had people that start flipping out at me. You know my favorite is this. Sir, this isn't a sales process. You're starting to make me feel a little uncomfortable. Here's the deal. If I was to tell you, I have so many nuggets, guys, but like, probably my favorite one is, if you're not having fun with this, it isn't worth it. You have to have fun. Maintaining something will eventually become exhausting in your life, and building is energizing. The secret ingredient to building anything is having fun with this. Looking at like a game. I talk about temporary imbalance, right? Question, how many of you guys played like serious video games when you were younger? Anybody? Okay, Ian, what'd you play?
Final Fantasy.
What was it?
Final Fantasy.
And how old were you?
About 14.
14?
Yeah.
If your mom said, Ian, I'm locking you in your room and you're grounded and you have to play Final Fantasy for 10 straight hours, that's your punishment, what would you say?
I would say, oh, perfect.
It's the way that we think, guys. That's all it is, and girls. It's the way that we think that will change the direction that you move. That's it. It's having fun. That's the way that we envision ourselves. Are you envisioning yourself like a prize fighter, knowing the fact you're going to win? Or are you walking in there like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen? Well, where does all this certainty come from? It comes from practice. It comes from the clarity of understanding the process. You know, it comes down to the fact that the dedicated sacrifice, I've dedicated half my life to the field of sales. You know, to go from a Jerry Rice to a Jerry Jones to say, hey, I was the top salesman at all these companies, right? This isn't based off theory. I had to earn the trophies before I had the validity to come up and speak with you guys today. B, something Eric talked about is balance. You need to have total fulfillment in all areas. Financial, emotional, physical, and spiritual. I got the chance to hear Randy Moss speak, and he said, family, faith, and fitness. He said when one of those three things were off, then his life wasn't working good. C stands for confidence. Act it, and you become it. C stands for confidence. You have to act it, and then you become it. Ready for a bar right here? It's discipline. Desire without discipline leads to disappointment, disillusionment, and depression. We're going to talk about the 6 Ds of actually having to scale your business, and there's actually something that comes before discipline we're going to talk about. E stands for enthusiasm. How would you guys define enthusiasm? It's the spirit that you have within. 51% of the entire sales process is enthusiasm. If you're not excited about your product, if you're not excited about your service, or you're not excited about your life, people are going to be able to read right through you. When I was 18 years old, I worked at a company called 2020 Communications, and somebody said in the first meeting I was ever in, he said, the guy with the most energy today is going to make the most money. I am sold myself. F, flexible. Anything is feasible if you are always flexible. If you miss a fill-in, just look at your neighbor and I'll be able to give you this after. G, goals. There's 2 types of goals. There's short-term and there's long-term goals. You want to hear something crazy? The average person spends more time planning out their 2-week vacation in every detail than their actual life's blueprint, which is known as your long-term goals. Well, let me ask you, how many of you guys write down your goals every single day? Right? Not too many people do that. How many of you guys journal? How many of you guys write, even if it's just on your notes, like have a vision or have a goal board or have something that you're visibly looking at every single day? You see, short-term goals should be no longer than 90 days, and then long-term goals should be more than 90 days. To be terrific, what do you have to be? It starts with an S. To be terrific, we must be specific. To be terrific, you must be specific. Very important part of goal setting and why it matters. H stands for health. To get rich and sick is stupid. Health. Right? So, like, being vulnerable, right? Like, Like, I'm not always like, I'm not in like the absolute best shape of my life, but I'm going to be, and I'm going to verbalize that. And what I did was I started swimming in the pool, and I did 100 laps, and I was like every day I would swim 100 laps, and I was scared to commit to 100 straight days where I could not miss a day, and I had to do 100 laps in the pool every single day to create the discipline. And today I'm on day 28, right? 7 a.m. today in the pool, 100 laps. But what I had to do was I needed to visualize what I wanted to accomplish, and then I needed to verbalize it. I posted on my Instagram, how many days straight do you guys think I'm going to get? Whoever guesses the correct number will win $1,000. Right? Kids guessed $100. Damn right, I'm going to do 101 on the last day, not to pay out anybody. But now I've created a game out of this. Every single time that I get an answer that's wrong, I X them off, and I've created a game. So it's not like I have to go into the pool, do 100 laps. It's the fact that I'm playing a game at this point. I stands for integrity. Be trustworthy so people will like you, trust you, and want to listen to you. You want to hear something crazy? I bet you never heard this before. You want to know the number one rule of ethics in selling? The number one rule of ethics in selling? If somebody qualifies by means of wants, needs, and financial capabilities, you must sell them. You must get them involved. You must help them acquire. It's the number one rule of ethics. You guys know the levels of a salesman. You have the stone cold trappers up at the top, right? The top individuals that double up on everybody in their competition, in their company. Then you have the master closers. You have the closers. You have the dealsmen. You have the salesmen. And then you have the order takers. Have you ever heard of that term? An order? Oh, you're just an order taker. You guys want to know the level under the order taker? This absolute scrub of the office they used to call back in the 1950s and 60s. Oh, that's just a tour guide. You don't want to be a tour guide, right? You want to be the stone cold trapper. You want to be the one that is doubling up on everybody. J, just for today. Live in the present moment, burn the past. Everything from yesterday on is a pot of ashes. It's gone, right? There's no need to dwell. The average person, when they get frustrated, they allow that to dwell. And what happens is they quit, they become hostile, or they withdraw. The champion, when they have a challenge or something happens, they say, how can I be creative in this situation? Very important key right there. Frustration will allow you to withdraw, or frustration with creativity will allow you to get better. K stands for knowledge. It's power when you properly apply it. Knowledge is power when you properly apply it. L stands for laughter. That's like medicine to the bones, okay? Who wants to laugh right now? I'm going to tell you the best way to laugh. It's called the smile formula and a laugh formula. All right, everybody close your eyes, okay? And on 3, when you open your eyes, I want you to smile and laugh. And when you open your eyes, I want you to envision that you're looking at a 2-month-old baby. Everyone open their eyes, smile and laugh. Pretend that you're looking at that little baby. How would you smile and laugh at them? That's called a genuine smile, a genuine laugh. A lot of the times people have insincere laughs, stuff like that. Next time you're in front of a homeowner, I had a kid ask me, they're like, what happens if they ask you? It's like, bro, you're not going to tell them that you're looking at them like a 2-month-old baby, you know? But it's the way that you smile and the way that you laugh. That's called Elmer Wheeler's smile formula. Anybody know who Elmer Wheeler was? He wrote a comprehensive book in the 1960s on door-to-door sales. It's called Tested Salesmanship by Elmer Wheeler. Really good one. Mentor. Allow yourself to be mentored and mentor others. There's 3 specific individuals that you guys need to identify. This is important. The first person you need to identify is somebody that you want to emulate. That you look at that person and you say, this is the person I want to be like. The second person you need to identify is the person that you're competing with on a day-to-day basis. And no, it's not yourself. And the third person you need to find is somebody that you are actually mentoring. How many guys have ever taken a brand new person out into the field with you and said, hey, watch me sell? Okay? Did you guys sell better or worse when you had the new guy with you?
Better.
Why is that? You talked. You affirmed what was going to happen before you actually performed. The person you want to emulate and the person that you're competing with. Do you know what % of people actually achieve the things they say they're going to achieve? Anyone want to guess? 5% are achievers. 95% of people are non-achievers. How many of you guys have ever heard the actual audio book, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill? Okay, all of you guys can get it for free. Just go to SoundCloud, type in Outwitting the Devil, and that should be something mandatory that everybody looks at if you want to be a true sales professional. Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill on SoundCloud. It's better to listen to the audio recording. It's an interview with the devil, okay, where he explains all of his tricks on how he's able to control people's minds. And he said, I occupy 96% of people's minds with blank space, with being able to turn them in the wrong direction or get them off track. And he talks about using things like cigarettes, alcohol, disease, all sorts of things to be able to course people in the opposite direction of his oppository, which is obviously God. So the person I was competing with, I always thought it was somebody else, like another individual in my office. The bottom line, to be blunt with you, is my biggest competitor every single day is the devil. Once you can identify your biggest competitor being the devil, you can work away. And he hates that I'm telling you guys this right now. He's like cringing right now because he talks about it. He's like, I hate when people say this stuff. But you find that person you want to emulate, you find that person you're competing with, and then you find that person that you're mentoring. N stands for network. With every new person you meet, you expand your potential client base. Your network is your net worth. Currency for me is not money anymore. Right? You get to a certain point and you're like, the money, it's cool, right? You know, I grew up poor. I watched my dad get down to his last 20 bucks when I was 18. I started in sales. I bought him an HD TV and I was on the front news letter of our company thing. And 3 years ago, I bought my dad a house cash. That's when you know that you're on this continuous journey and can make a difference and impact people. It was never about my why. It was about my who. And I saw my dad struggle. I saw how much he cared about me and my sister. For me, it was about making my dad proud. It's about making others proud that care about you on your journey, because a lot of those people never had an opportunity like this. O stands for organized. You have to pay attention to the details. Organized, paying attention to the details. P stands for persistence. Persistence. Growth occurs when you find you can't quit, but you know you can't quit. Growth occurs when you find you can't go on, but know you can't quit. Knowing the fact that I can't quit is what sticks in the back of my mind. Q stands for questions. If I say it, they tend to doubt it. If they say it, then it's true. I'm like a police officer in any selling situation. Anything I say will be held against you. And then I write down their answers. I was in a situation where I didn't get enough out of the woman, and I said, yeah, this is a bigger system. I just talked to upper management, and they do want you to actually write down the top 3 reasons why we should pick your home. And when she picks up her pen and says, because I'm sick and tired of this, or because my roof is damaged, and you get them to write it down in their own handwriting, that's the ultimate tie down. Something we're going to talk about today is tie downs, takeaways, the 3 different types of tie downs. Like I said, we have a lot to cover today. So as long as you guys are checked in, we're going to go probably past 2. And we're going to really engrave all this into your mind so you guys get better at sales today. R stands for relationships. Begin with rapport, develop respect, and give more service than your clients expect, and they will give your company more business. Like I said, currency is relationships. S stands for success. Tom defines success as the continuous journey toward the achievements of predetermined worthwhile goals. Meaning these things have to be in writing. They have to be predetermined, they have to be worthwhile. T stands for time planning. We must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. That's something that you guys should be saying to yourself every single day. Time planning. U stands for understanding, the first step that creates empathy. Like I said, people aren't buying from you because they understand what you're saying. They do it because they feel understood. V stands for vocabulary. The words we use create thoughts and feelings and result in actions. Right, we're going to talk about the nasty words compared to glamour words. Glamour words are commonly known words that are uncommonly used that we're going to cover today. How can we build excitement during our sales presentation? W, work. Life works if you do. Simple as that. Life works if you do. You combine play and work, and then you're not working at all. X stands for extra. Find more creative ways to give thanks and recognition to your company's clients. Always giving people way more than they expect. Y stands for why wait? Overcome procrastination by living by these 3 words. Do it now, or GOYA. Does anybody know what that stands for? GOYA?
Get off of your ass.
Get off of your anatomy. Yep. Get off of your anatomy. And then Z, you have to zero in with zeal. You need to stay focused. As a champion, you have to stay in that positive shell. Like I said, we're moving a lot faster than I normally work. But the reason why is because I want to give you guys everything today. I want to give you guys as much sauce as I can. So that's going to be your ABCs of selling. Psychology of the profession is sales. Sales is an art and a science. Some say there are no secrets or shortcuts in sales. I disagree. The reason why there's so much mediocrity is because people aren't willing to constantly sharpen their tools. And this is what I would break down for anybody being the 5 most important things that I focus on when I knock on somebody's door. The first thing is I have to have clarity. When I talk to somebody on the door, they react to the range, the volume, the pace, and the diction. Oh, hi, sir. How are you? My name's Taylor. No. Oh, hi, sir. How are you? My name's Taylor. No. Oh, hi, sir. How are you? Hey, my name is Taylor McCarthy. Right? I'm utilizing my voice. One of the most powerful things that you guys have. You have your voice. That's a tool. That's your technique. Clarity, repetition, energy, belief, and service. Those are the 5 most important fundamentals that I would tell you to focus on. You need to be clear. You need to be repetitive. You need to have energy. The people with the most energy make the most money. You have to have that deep down belief about your product, your service, your company, your conviction. And you have to understand you are not a salesman. You are a servant. You are there to serve. And that's what leads to an effective sales process. Okay? The core tenets of success for a successful career in sales starts with your skills and abilities, something that on every single day developing. The development, the culture, and the mentality. Success comes from 2 things, grit and desire. Does anybody know what the word grit means?
The ability to go through failure?
Grit, get ready, it's tough. Okay? That's what grit is to me. That's when I think of grit, is get ready, it's tough. So what is success in door-to-door? Like we talked about, is the continuous journey towards these achievements of predetermined, worthwhile goals. And if you break that sentence down to the absolute ridiculous, the continuous journey, what I think about is my life is like a stock. Everything that I do will either put me in a position where I'm ahead or behind. Towards the achievement, it's not goal setting that matters, it's the achievement of it matters. Predetermined, meaning that they have to be worthwhile and in writing. If they're not in writing, then it's really hard to be accomplishing your goals. Because like we talked about, to be terrific, you must be specific. Good. So this is what my main objective is when I go to sell. I need to create curiosity. You guys want to see my 2 favorite books?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me show you. Drink water real quick.
Hey, bro, quick question. What's the difference between skills and abilities?
They're very similar, but your abilities and your skills, they fall hand in hand.
Okay.
It's something that you can develop on a daily basis.
Right.
So these are 2 of my favorite books, and you guys might recognize them, but it's probably a little bit since you've actually read them. Let me show you these. These are my 2 favorite books right here. Right? Who's ever read this one? Right? This book's crazy, actually. I was looking at it the other day, and let me try to find it. So I'm looking at it, and like George goes out on the boat, and then like he's wandering. He's on the boat. They're looking for George. They finally find George. He gets off the boat. After a good meal and a good pipe, George felt very tired. What were they teaching us back then, right? Curious George and Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. I actually carry this. This is a slick that I carry. And when I get those homeowners, I say, this is called a pattern interrupt. Sir, may I just have your permission to be blunt with you? Have you actually ever read this book? It's called Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. Actually, let me show you. On page 17, right? You need to have props. You need to have the ability to be just a little bit different than anybody else that's ever talked to them. What I do is completely different. I don't care if there's already been 20 roofers, 20 solar guys. Doesn't matter to me. They've never explained. What I'm doing is completely different. because they've never heard it from you. When I go to talk with the homeowner the same way I'm talking with you, my goal is to help them think differently. Wow, I've never thought about it that way. Wow, that does make sense. Well, yeah. The buyer's going to give you every excuse to say no. What your goal is to get the excuse from them to say yes. So we create curiosity by being likable and making it make sense. What does a confused mind always say? No. Confused mind always says no. If they're not curious, they're not going to be interested. You know what I do when they say I'm not interested, or when they give me the first objection? When they give me the first objection, I say, yeah, that's the thing, and I just keep moving in my presentation. Most of the time, it's a smoke screen. Right? Not interested. I laugh at them. Yeah, of course, sir. You don't want to buy anything, right? Cool. It's a little bit different. Right? Yeah. The first time you hear an objection, understand an objection is a tactic, guys. It's a tactic used by the buyer to stall or prolong the final decision. That's what an objection is. It's a technique from the buyer. They have technique, I have technique. One or two things going to happen. My level of belief is higher, and I'm going to transition into the home for my products and my service, or their belief is way stronger than mine, and they're transitioning me back onto the street. So it's how you program this computer up here to win the game. So the definition of closing is blending your sincere desire to serve, okay? You have to blend your sincere desire to actually serve somebody, helping to make decisions that are truly good for them, resulting in a win-win final solution. That's the long version of what closing is. The short version is creating the decision. But it's an actual symphony of words that can actually build up to find that win-win final decision for the families that you serve. Okay, the process is not to the people we help, the process is for the people we help. Sometimes as the professional, we have to look at ourselves like an assistant buyer. I'm not there to, I'm actually one of the ones that's helping them make this decision. I take their hand and I help them rationalize the decision. You can use lines like, sir, we could take all the emotion out of this and see if it was a logical situation for you, and if it was logical for you, it would probably make sense for you to have this taken care of, wouldn't it? And the way that I do this is I'm creating the decision and I'm creating the curiosity with the things that I carry in this binder. So I walk into a gas station, I'm in Chicago, went to go get a drink, the gas station attendant's like, what do you got in there? It's like, bro, I got a whole arsenal in here. Because people learn by hearing, reading, writing, and saying, not just hearing. Now, by a show of hands, how many of you guys work in just solar in here? Okay, and then how many of you guys are just roofing? Is anybody doing anything besides roofing or solar in here? Okay, well, besides roofing and solar, you guys do other things like siding and stuff like that? Yeah. Cool. So I'm going to show you the roofing slicks that I use. These are specific things that I have that if I need to put something into their hand, that I can create the curiosity. If I'm just talking at them the entire time, it's different than if I'm putting something into their hand and I can get them to hear, read, write, and say. So maybe if I explain to them like this is a hypothetical, but like hypothetically, if, you had a damaged roof and the insurance company told you they'd completely replace it and all you're responsible for your deductible, what would you say? Right? So being able to show them things like what they won't tell you, right? To be able to put this in to create that pain. Why you should get your roof replaced. Why you shouldn't get your roof replaced. The components of a roof. Old stuff versus new stuff. Area references. The main questions. We're going to talk about the psychology of yes, and we're going to also talk about the psychology of no today. Like I said, we have a lot to cover today. I could have came in here with a 1-hour training. We could have went very slow. Or if you guys are really catching up, is this resonating with you? Is the speed okay? Okay, so we're programming right now. This is what we're doing. So these were the 12 most important things that I learned on that journey. Next to the word success is sacrifice. First comes the action, then comes the motivation. Have fun. The harder that I worked, the luckier that I got. We get energy from yes. How many of you guys used to play Mario when you were a kid? Right? Collecting the mushroom, that's like me getting a yes in the field. I just get more contagious. You get more energy. Next to the level of teaching is actually performing sales. There's a lot of sales trainers that will teach you everything based on a theory, but you've never seen them actually perform what they teach. We get better or worse, there's no neutral. Currency is relationships. Temporary imbalance is how you're going to be able to get ahead. You have to personalize the situation to the location. You have to play a game, and you have to pay attention to the scoreboard. So I know I went through that fast, but if you guys want to take a picture, go ahead and feel free. But those were the 12 most important lessons that I learned thinking about, hey, what was it that I had to do to be able to get to the next level? Okay, so feel free to take a picture of that. All right, now we're going to get into the workbook. This was all before the meat and potatoes. So we've gone over a lot of things already. But this page, I need you to really understand. When I first learned this, it went in one ear and it went out the other one, and I didn't really understand it. And it took me a little bit, and then once I understood it, I understood how important it was. When you guys are helping people get involved with your product, when you're serving them, when you're educating them, and when you're convening them, what are you doing? Starts with a T. You're teaching. What are you guys doing right now? Learning. What does the homeowner do when you knock on their door? Learning. Okay, and what are you doing when you knock on their door? Teaching. All right, and what are you guys doing right now? Learning. Okay, so I need you to understand these 5 steps of the learning process. The first step is you have to have impact. You have to be aware and alert right now. If you're scrolling through Instagram stories 3 minutes ago, then you're probably not, you know what you're strobe lighting, right? Instead of being the laser beam. So if you notice yourself getting off track throughout the time that we have together, just say, wait a second, I'm strobe lighting. Got to be the laser beam. Say that to yourself and watch what happens. Impact, consciously hearing, reading, writing, and saying these techniques. You're hearing, you're reading, you're writing, and you're saying. That's why you all have workbooks. Step 2 is repetition. You have to read, write, hear, and say something 6 times to gain 62% of that retention. Like I said, J. Douglas Edwards says, memorize, practice, drill, rehearse. Practice does not make perfect. Only perfect practice makes perfect. Step 3 is utilization. Consciously making yourself use the techniques. So we have impact. We're aware and alert. Then we repeat it ourselves. Then we've utilized it. Once you utilize it enough, then you internalize it. Internalization is when the techniques and strategies become a natural part of you. That's what it is. When it becomes a natural part of me, that's when you can actually internalize something. And then step 5 is you reinforce. You get better or worse, there is no neutral. So I had an impact. I was aware and alert. I repeated myself. I utilized the material. I internalized the material, and I reinforced the material. It's like going through this workbook multiple times and actually saying it out loud is how you're going to start to make it you. The more the better, okay? The more that you guys practice your craft, that will lead to the certainty. The certainty will lead to the confidence. The confidence will lead to the results. The results lead to growth. The growth leads to who you become. But it starts with you having the practice to create the certainty, which will lead to who you become. And I'm just focused on effort and input. How much effort, how much input can I put? How much activity? You know, through this entire blitz that I did, where I went all across the United States and Canada, I was with different companies every single day. And I never got 0 sales on one of those blitzes. I did 74 solar sales in 30 days, and every single sale's on camera. And I always tell people, maybe it's because I'm Irish, and I just keep getting lucky, you know? Maybe it's my Irish blood, you know? But it's preparation plus the opportunity that equals the luck, okay? Psychology of yes. You are the representation for the way the buyer feels about your product and service. My focus is to be real and find commonality. It's not what I say, it's not how I say it, it's how I can make them feel. The psychology of yes starts with who? You. You are the product and service and the company at the very beginning. E stands for energy. Prospects say yes more based on my attitude, belief, and conviction than my technical skills. I could be so technical with them People get way more technical than me. But one of my most powerful lines is I look somebody square in the eye and I say, if I go through this process with you, you would do it. 1000% you would do it. It's the hardest part of my job is timing. I'm just looking for the time when we both have it. And we can take all the emotion out of this and just see if it's a logical situation for you. But that level of conviction when you're talking to somebody is what actually moves them to that next step of moving forward. And then S, service. Genuinely helping people, right? I would not do this if I wasn't helping people. Wouldn't be worth it. Seldom do people buy logically, people buy emotionally, and then they defend this sale with logic. PCX, something I learned at Solar City working for Elon Musk Solar Company. PCX is actually I'm going to change it to PFX, perfect family experience. We don't like to say the word customer, we like to say families, or the families that we serve. Customers is actually a nasty word, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So these are the reasons people buy, okay? What are some other reasons that people buy, you think? What is some reasons why people would get their roof replaced or put solar on their house?
Ego.
Ego, okay.
Keep it on the problem.
Keep up with the Joneses. Peer pressure, security, pride of the ownership. They need it. Style, right? They want it, okay? You want to hear something crazy is J. Douglas Edwards was at a sales seminar with Paul Harvey. Does anybody know who Paul Harvey is? Paul Harvey was a famous radio broadcaster. Paul Harvey, somebody knows who he is? Right, he's a pretty famous guy. And that they're at this big American Sales Masters big convention. And it all led up to the last award, which was the Salesman of the Year. And they announced that this salesman made $30,000 that year. And people start looking left and right, and they're like, what? I made more than that. How's this guy the Salesman of the Year if he only made 30 racks? And they call him up, Donald Jones. And Donald goes to walk up on the stage, and he's got a stick in front of him. And they realize Donald's blind. So they're sitting there like, how did this guy sell that many homes? And he gets off stage, and they go to ask him. And he said, you see, I can never see these homes through my own eyes. I can only see the home through the families that I serve's eyes. What does he need to do? He's blind. He has to ask a lot of what?
Questions.
Ask a ton of questions. And what happens after those questions? More questions. Right, so tell me more about this. Oh, Donald, it's beautiful. You should see the view. Tell me about the view. Well, there's this green grass, this, that. The families that you serve are not going forward with you because of the way that you see it. It's because of the way that they see it. He's like, my other advantage was they couldn't just leave me at the house. They had to drive him home. But these are the psychology of reasons why people say yes. Emotions can trigger the sale, but emotions can also destroy the sale. You can destroy a sale just as rapidly as you can create it. The greatest enemy in sales is what? The client's fear. Okay? When you knock on somebody's door, the anxiety's way up here and the certainty's way down here. I need to shift. Okay? And I do that with the tonality, the voice inflection, my body language, my range, my volume, my pace, my diction, mirror and match. There's so many skill sets that you guys can learn to be better at sales, but it comes down to that first thing that I said. Do you have the willingness to pay the price? Which most salespeople don't. They get 1 or 2 sales, or they get X amount in their bank account, and they're like, I'm good. I'm comfortable. But then they spend it, and then they go and they're like yo-yo selling. Enter the selling zone, I'm exiting the selling zone, I'm entering the selling zone. Every single one of you guys has a voice recorder on your phone. You guys should be listening to what you actually say on the doors. Sometimes it's the smallest thing, like, dude, slow it down 10%. Or, hey, you've got to be able to change a little part or piece of your presentation. Or ask more questions. Or stop saying or ah between every 3 lines. It's called seal talk. Like a seal, the noise seals make? That's what we call it when you use and and interject words. We need to eliminate that fear, okay? That's all it is. What about no? Psychology of no starts, the first reason why somebody's going to tell you is no is because of confusion. A confused mind is always going to tell you no. Number 2 is lingering questions. That's why I like to have this slick, which is the 4 main questions. You know, typically people have these 4 main questions. Will my insurance monthly cost increase? Will my insurance drop me? How do you guys make money? And then bottom line, what is the out-of-pocket cost? But when we talk about lingering questions, do you want to know what the number 1 lingering question is that the homeowners don't tell you? They're called hidden questions. What do you think is the number 1 thing that a homeowner would think when you were knocking on their door and the reason that they would not move forward?
How much I gotta spend?
How much is it going to
What's
cost?
in it for me?
Okay, how much is it going to spend? Nope, I didn't hear it yet.
Should I trust you?
Should I trust you? Okay, that's the only objection you face, but you're on the right track. The hidden thing that most of the families are thinking way back here is it sounds too good to be true. Okay? So you have to have a one-liner to be able to attack that. Okay? Like if you notice, like when the sale's not moving in the direction I want, or it goes, I pattern interrupt. Sir, may I just have your permission to be blunt with you? Right, now I'm back on track. Right, I pattern interrupted them. So the line that I would use if I were you guys is bottom line, you're going to fall into 1 or 2 categories. Category 1, everything that I just explained makes complete and total sense. You might know some of the other families that got their roofs replaced. Or category 2, it just sounds way too good to be true and you're probably sitting there like, wait a second, what's the catch? The catch is simple. Now what do I have with the family? I have their full attention. And I'm like a boxer that wants to put them into the corner. What was the main reason that you guys have insurance in the first place?
Check the home.
To check the home. That if there was a situation that you'd obviously want to have that fixed, wouldn't you? Right? These hypotheticals, why they should get their roof replaced, why they should not get their roof replaced, right? That's called reverse selling. Before I explain to you all the reasons why so many people are getting involved with this program, they did not win the lottery, I first want to tell you the reasons you should never partake in this, okay? And it's just easier if I show you. You know, if you don't have an insurance policy, then you're going to have to come out of pocket, and that's really the only way that you'd be able to do it. You know, if you have no damage, I'm not going to go up there and go do a bunch of legwork for nothing. And then obviously people want to be proactive, not reactive. These are the reasons why, like, you know, the other families thought it was a pretty good idea. And obviously when the wind or the hailstorm happened, I don't think that it made a U-turn around your house. Keep in mind, I'm just the first step. All I really do today are 2 things. 1, I would actually go up there, take a look at the roof, and then I would come back and I would show you the results. But 1 or 2 things is either going to happen. Either option 1, we find legitimate damage. It's kind of like if the insurance company came to you today and said, you have damage, we're replacing the roof, and the only thing that you're responsible for is your deductible. What would you say? Right? You want to use these hypothetical situations with the families when you're explaining why it makes sense. Okay? Remember, it's not what I say, it's not how I say it, it's how I can make them feel. And then the inadequate explanation of benefits. That's a very important part of reasons why somebody will say no. So you need to explain the benefits, how you're involved, how you're rewarded. And then timing. It's the hardest part of our job as sales professionals. Right? When they want to stall, it's a tactic. But timing is another psychology of reason why somebody would tell you no. Hidden questions, more discovery. And then lastly is no, not you. You could have the perfect presentation. I can't sell anybody, but I've had some people where I'm like, holy crap, bro, I took that guy pretty far in the process. That was pretty cool.
Right.
I just focus on the best possible job I can do. If you put your energy where you have influence, if you put your energy outside of where you have influence, you're going to wear yourself out. You guys want to write this one down. There's two types of people that you're going to find in your life. Everyone you find in your life will either inspire you or they will drain you. You need to be aware of those 2 types of people. Do you inspire me in my vision or are you draining me? Right? If they're draining you, you know what game you guys have to play? Zip, zip, zip. I am now in my positive shell. Right? Somebody's going to get a divorce over that because they didn't hear the fact that I said I didn't tell you to use it around your spouse. But that's the psychology of no. So what is technique in door-to-door sales? Technique is the words that come out of your mouth, okay? The words that come out of your mouth. That is what technique is. And if your tactics are sound, they can't fight you. So, I have a question. Who in this room plays cards? Okay? All right, what was your name?
Joey.
Joey, would you mind coming up here real quick? Let's give it up for Joey. Okay, so Joey, what kind of cards do you play?
Texas Hold'em.
You play Hold'em, so you know a lot about cards.
Quite a bit.
Okay, cool. So I want to play a little game real quick. So I want you to just pick a card without looking at it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right, you got.
Don't look at the
just
card.
pull it out. Just pull it out. You got that one? That's the one you want? All right, I got it. All right, so that one.
Yeah.
So this is the one you want.
Yes, sir.
You haven't looked at this.
No, sir.
Okay, I want you to turn around. Okay, you can't see this. Okay. Everyone can see that. Okay. Everyone's seeing it. It's going to put it on the top of the deck. Okay. So everyone saw it. Everyone else wants to see it. Okay, that's the card that he picked. I didn't pick it. Okay. So let's watch this. So forgive me, what was your first name again?
Joey.
Joey, nice to meet you,
Nice to
man.
meet you,
You play a lot of cards.
Yes, sir.
What do you like to play? You said Hold'em?
Texas Hold'em. Yes, sir.
You go to Vegas a lot and play?
No, just local card game at home.
Nice. Dude, I totally forget. Maybe you can help me. How many total cards are in an actual deck?
52, not including the jokers.
Perfect. That's what it is. Sometimes I get really forgetful. So there's 52 cards in a deck, and if you could name the red or the black, what would you name for me?
What do you mean?
Like, if there's 52 cards in the deck, and there's different suits,
Yep.
and there's different colors, correct?
Yep. Yep.
So, if I'm not mistaken, there's two different colors. What colors are those in the deck?
Red and black.
The red and the black, okay. Now, if you were to name the red or the black, what would you name?
Red.
Red, okay. And with the red, there's two specific types of cards. Sorry, I'm so forgetful.
Hearts and diamonds.
The hearts and diamonds, that's what it is. Thank you so much. And you have the hearts and the diamonds. There's 52 cards in a deck. Now, if you were to name the hearts or the diamonds, which would you name?
Hearts.
Hearts, okay. And through the process of elimination, that would only leave you with one resulting color, which would be the diamonds.
Correct.
Now, there's 52 cards in a deck, and I believe there's numbers, and then there's face cards. If you were to name the numbers or the face cards, which would you name?
Numbers.
The numbers, okay. Numbers are good. Do you like high numbers or do you like low numbers?
Low numbers.
Low numbers, okay. So we'll say 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the diamonds were the ones that we were left with, which was red. If you were to name the 2, 3, 4, and 5, if you were just name two of those for me,
2 and 3.
which would leave you with the 4 and the 5. Through the process of elimination, if you had the 4 and the 5 of diamonds, would you please name one of those cards for me?
4.
Which would only leave you with one resulting card. And what card would that be?
5.
5 of diamonds. Now, if you go to that card deck and you pick up the first deck of the card,
Okay.
and tell me what card that is. You see, this isn't a magic trick, guys. This isn't meant to be a magic trick. I'm not a magician. What I'm showing you is an example of effective questioning. You see, he felt like he was in control the entire time. There's one technique that's more powerful than any other technique in all of selling, and that is control. I need to control the selling situation, but I need to feel like he has control. I need to take the command position, the leading position. I need to take his hand, and I need to help him make the decision that's truly good for him. And that's an example of effective questioning. So let's give it up for him. So, effective questioning 101. What types of questions do we ask? What are the different types of questions? Open questions, involvement questions, closed questions, all questions, tie downs, inverted tie downs, tag on statements. See, some of you guys might not know all of these. And the idea is that you just haven't programmed them into your mind to be the professional, right? To be the tactician, right? To be the beast out there in the field. That you know the fact that you're the number one door-to-door salesman, or you're the best salesman in the world, and when you go and knock on their door, that you literally just teleport that energy. You want to know what I do? I think certain things. Words come out of my mouth. The words create an emotion. The emotion creates a feeling. The feeling creates a judgment. And the judgment creates a decision. When I knock on the door, I'm starting to think in my head, bro, this is a done deal. This would be ridiculous. Bro, they were talking about it last night. The husband was playing Xbox, and he was pissed because the roof was damaged. And I'm like saying this all to myself. I have this kid shadowing me. He's like, how do you know he was playing Xbox last night? I'm like, bro, don't worry about it. Right? Because IASM, I am sold myself. I'm in the field. I go to this gated community. I got 3 new guys with me. I'm like, bro, I'm going to smash today. I'm going to show these guys. I'm just feeling so good. I get to the field. There's a gated community. I get out. I'm like, watch this, dude. I guarantee you I will sell the first house I talk to. I guarantee it, bro. Guarantee it. I knock on the door. I go through my presentation, my diction, my pace, my volume. Everything is so on point. And I'm like 6 minutes into the presentation. He goes, this is a gated community. Get out of here. And he slams the door in my face. And I get off that door. I was like, bro, that was nasty. Bro, that was the best presentation. If I'm ripping like that all day, we are going to absolutely crush. I get to the second house. My energy was on point because all I'm doing is I'm teleporting, right? These things that I think create words, create emotion, create the feeling, create the judgment, create the decision. When I knock on their door, that teleports out of me. They think something, words come out of their mouth. They have an emotion, they have a feeling. They judge me, my product, my service, and they make a decision. Second house, perfect presentation, absolutely ripping. This is a gated community. You're not supposed to be here. Slams the door in my face. Dude, I am crushing it, dude. I'm so good right now. Third, fourth, fifth house, door slammed in my face. My energy is up here. Right? And then we get back to back to back sales. 3 houses in a row. But what happens if I'm like, bro, this is a gated community? Well, somebody was here last week, you know? Well, yeah, you know, maybe they are right. It says no soliciting, you know? Well, right? Salesman is first off a man that can sell himself to himself, or a woman that can sell herself to herself. They have an absolute catching belief. Okay, and that's where it starts. If your tactics are sound, they can't fight you. A champion will listen. They will listen twice as much as he or she talks. A champion doesn't tell people things when he can ask the questions. Because if I say it, they tend to doubt it. If they say it, then it's true. They will believe it, and a champion leads people with questions. I can't lead people to a decision until I make it. Like I said, I envision myself like an assistant buyer. I'm taking their hand and I'm leading them through this process. Ask them questions they can answer. If your tactics are sound, they can't fight you. With questions, you are in absolute control. It's my obligation to make the decision. It's my obligation to educate. It's my obligation to serve. And it's my ability to actually give them a convenience of making that decision in their own home. You know what's crazy is I read these books from the 1940s and 50s and 60s, and they used to sell everything door to door. They used to sell manure door to door in Long Island, right? And they tell this story that they'd go to all these really rich homes, and there's this farmer that would sell manure, and nobody wanted to have poop spread around their lawn. So he was like, his famous closing line is like, he'd lower his voice, he'd like, look, Mary, I can get in and out in 5 minutes, nobody will know. And that's the reason that he got so many sales. But we used to be called peddlers back in the day, if you've ever heard of that phrase, a peddler. So how to effective questions. We are going to talk about these specific questions today. Open questions, closed questions, alternative choice questions, the 3 different types of tie downs, takeaways, and tag-on statements. All very, very, very important. Okay? And I'm going to explain to you each situation with an example. Okay, so why do we ask questions? Why do you think we ask questions?
Gather information.
Gather information. What else? Somebody from the back. Why do we ask questions? To solve problems. Some from up here. Why do we ask questions? To understand. Okay, good. The reason why we ask questions is to gain the control, to gain the command position. Number 2 is to isolate areas of interest. To isolate areas of interest. Number 3, the third reason why we ask questions is to acknowledge a fact. To acknowledge a fact. Number 4 is to receive these minor agreements. You see, I have the homeowner say yes 73 times before I get into the final close. Small little, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Nods, right? They're called trial close, test closes. My closing process is not complicated. It's okay, so the next step is I have to verify you're on the deed of the home. You guys aren't wanted burglars. You guys don't have any arrest warrants out in North Dakota or Maryland or anything like that. Okay, we are going to verify you have decent credit and that you guys went through a bankruptcy. You know, with roofing, what I would do, my strategy, when I did 114 roofs in 11 days, every single one on camera too, is I never went on the roof. Like, being blunt with you guys, I'm not a roofer. Like, you guys could teach me a lot more about roofing than I know. But what I do know is I know sales. So I would always have somebody with me, my engineer, with a ladder, to be very blunt with you. I'll just tell you how it is. I'm scared to go on the roof. I'm like, I'm going to be the one that ends up falling off, you know. So it's like, how'd you die? I went up on this guy's roof and, you know, walked backwards. Or I don't even know how to do it. But the point is I would have a strategy where I had somebody with me the whole time. And I'd say, oh yeah, Abraham, if you want to just grab your ladder, I'm not going up on the roof. You probably aren't either. So Abraham, if you want to just grab it, he's going to see what's going on, and one or two things going to happen. We're going to have the peace of mind to know that you have no damage. Or secondly is, if we find legitimate damage, we're going to be the ones that actually meet with the insurance company, and all we ask is if we can get them to approve it, we just want to be able to do the work. After I got the damage, I would then file a claim, help them, they would file a claim, but I would help them do that with their policy. Homeowner gets on, hi, I'd like to file a claim. Yes, this is my address. Okay, boom, here's the claim number. I'd get the claim number filled out, and I'd start paper closing them. What's the correct spelling of your last name? And then I'd have them okay the form. You know, the last seminar I was out here in Atlanta, what did we do after the seminar ended?
You closed.
Yeah, we went to the field, right? I had an hour before my flight. I said, let's go into the field and actually make some sales, right? It wasn't hard. We're trick-or-treating. We're professional trick-or-treaters. Or you're just exercising and making friends. It's the way that you envision everything. It's opposite thinking. It's the way that you think, the reverse thinking that matters. Number 5, to arouse and control emotions, to isolate the objections, to answer the objections, and to keep them involved. Okay, these are 8 of the most critical things that you can do on why you ask questions. Okay? If you guys miss any fill-ins, I'll get you guys the answers after. But I know because of time, we still have a lot to go over. So these are reasons why we ask questions. So different types of questions. The first one is an open question. And open questions are broad and can be answered in detail. They require thought on the part of the buyer. Okay? Some of the questions that I like to ask for open questions is, awesome, so how are you guys feeling about all this so far? Are you guys pretty excited? Right? If they say, I don't know, then you didn't sell it correctly. How would protecting yourself from inflation and gaining independence from the mercy of the power company provide you with peace of mind? How would knowing the fact that your entire roof was replaced because it was damaged provide you with peace of mind? Right? And then when I talk about damage, I show them things like this, like what they won't tell you. These are the things that the insurance company is not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you about the collection of granules, leaky clogged gutters, broken, cracked or curling shingles, missing shingles, hail damage, water damage, problem in the attic, the extent of shingle damage, and hidden damage. Right? And then if I show them this, then I just show them this hypothetically. Like, that should be one that you guys all have in your bag. Hypothetically, if the insurance called you or showed up at the house and told you had legitimate damage and they were going to completely replace the entire roof, and the only thing you were responsible for was your deductible, what would you say? But guys, stop overcomplicating the sales process. When you have other people that have new roofs in the neighborhood, let them know they did not win the lottery. They just put 1 and 1 together and realized that they could take advantage of the insurance company because the insurance company was taking advantage of them. How long have you lived here in the house? Okay, so you've already paid for the roof. It's just whether or not you want to claim it. Because somebody's going to end up all these other people kind of were pretty smart about it, and they realize now that they claimed it that everybody else's insurance is going to go up. So whether you do it or not really doesn't make a difference to me. I'm just step one. We're just the ones that actually inspect everything. Obviously, if there's no damage, then everything stays the same. But like I said, there's absolutely no cost to you. I'm just the first step. Actually, Billy can grab his ladder real quick. Billy, can you just grab your ladder? I don't ask them. I just tell them. Right? If I'm there with them for 7-8 minutes, if I was talking to them about selling them waterproof towels, they would have already slammed the door in my face. So my job is to create the decision. What do you like best about the idea of getting the roof replaced? Obviously it isn't, but if the entire roof was replaced right now, like what would be your biggest concern? Before we fill out all the forms, did you have any other questions for me? Notice the beginning part. Before we fill out all the forms, do you have any other questions for me? Notice the beginning. Obviously it isn't, but if you had the brand new roof already installed, what would be your biggest concern? Right? We're asking them these open questions to get them to think differently. They allow you to collect qualitative answers from customers that are for the most part full of information. By asking this type of question, you're giving the customers the opportunity to answer whatever they like. Okay? You're controlling the way the sale goes, but you're giving them the command position as they think. Second part of an open question is going to be closed questions. Closed questions are narrow and focused. Okay? Are you the homeowner here? It's yes or no questions. They allow you to choose the response that can be made by the participants beforehand. This means you're prompting participants to be specific in their answers, giving clear results. What would you say? Right? Yes or no question. So before we get all the forms filled out, did you have any other questions? Do you want to pay more for electricity? Do you want to continue paying for this when you don't need to? Do you want to pay less to own your power? Do you want to have the ability to no longer pay a power bill? Do you want to have the ability to have the insurance completely replace the roof and all you're responsible for is the deductible? These are the questions that you can ask to create the decision. Next type of question is going to be called alternative choice questions. Alternative choice questions are this or that questions, not yes or no. Okay? Would you like the survey to happen in the morning or is the afternoon better? Alternative choice questions. Pay attention, guys. Remember, we got to be laser beams. This is a very important part. Alternative choice question. Would you guys end up keeping the tax credit or just apply it into the system? What is an alternative choice question we can ask for roofers? What is an alternative choice question that you could ask to a homeowner?
Would you like charcoal or would you like weathered gray?
Great. Would you like charcoal or weathered gray? It requires thought on them that's giving them a this or that answer. Great example of an alternative choice question. It's another alternative choice question you could ask to a homeowner.
Would you like to file the claim in the morning or in the afternoon?
Would you like to file the claim in the morning or is the afternoon better? Good. Okay. What is a tie down? Who knows what a tie down is?
I can't say 100%. That's why I half-heartedly raised my hand. But a tie down, from my understanding, is gonna be like an obvious like you're tying down a question. Like it's like a dumb question in a sense, but you're making them agree to that dumb question as if it's a legit question. So like it sounds good, doesn't it?
So good. A tie down is a question at the end of a sentence that demands a yes. Wouldn't it, couldn't it, shouldn't it, doesn't it, wasn't it? That was one, wasn't it?
Right, yeah.
Can't it? Asking those type of questions where you ask a question and you have to demand a yes. There's 3 different types of tie downs. We're going to go over it, but it's a question at the end of a sentence that demands a yes or isolates an objection. I try to wait for the buyer's positive stimulus. Sometimes I'm nodding, and I get them to nod, right? Small little things. Inverted tie down is the definition putting the tie down on the front for more warmth. Doesn't it make sense to replace the roof if the insurance company was going to be responsible because there was legitimate damage? If the insurance company was to replace the roof and all you were responsible for was the deductible, that would make sense, wouldn't it? What type of tie down did I use right there? Regular tie down or inverted? Regular, okay. Doesn't it make sense to be able to save money on a bill that you're never going to cancel? What type of tie down is that? Inverted. You see, you take it at the beginning and it provides more warmth. Okay, that's called an inverted tie down. There's also something called a tie down tag on. They say it, you tie it down. John, you're completely right. That does make sense, doesn't it? After they say something. That's going back to, if I say it, they will tend to doubt it. If they say it, then it's true. Takeaway. One of the most important parts of your entire sales process. When I talk about takeaway, guys, for me, it's a demeanor of, I really don't care if you do this. If you want to be a part of it, great. But like, this is going to happen with or without you. That's what my demeanor is when I sell. Going back to when they start giving me a hard time, like, sir, this isn't a sales process. You're starting to make me feel a little uncomfortable. Right? Utilizing these lines to be able to have the demeanor that, hey, I'm there to serve. If you want to take advantage of this, this is a service. This is enrollment. Right? This is not a sales process. If you want to do it, great. I know I can help you. You know, always thinking of reasons they couldn't do it. Going back to the takeaways like shade, tax exempt, infrastructure, structure, utility, town. You know, maybe it's the fact that their storm date is out of date. Maybe it's the fact that there's so many people that have claimed the longer that they wait, it could be negligence, that they're being reactive rather than proactive. So understand the power of the takeaway during your process. Okay, and then you have tag-on statements. That's a statement at the end of a sentence that has an explanation of benefits that tie down the previous statement. Those are called tag-on statements. At the end of the day, I think we can both agree if you guys decide to move, the utility company is not going to give you any of that money back. They just keep it. I have to be able to say something logical to be able to create that ultimate decision. Nodding your head a lot during the positive stimulus basics. Okay, what do you think is more important here? There's two basic types of closing. What is more important? Oral closing or written closing? Okay, does anybody want to tell me why they think written? Does anybody think oral closing is more important than written closing in here?
Written is confirming their yes.
Okay, written is confirming their yes.
Oral's the mind.
Okay.
You've got somebody verbally committing to something, that means the belief's there. Sometimes you just sign, get on my roof, check it out, but I'm not moving forward just to get rid of you. If you believe it, you talk about it, you get excited, you keep.
So you believe oral closing is more important?
If I've sold correctly, yes.
Okay, and you believe written closing is more important? By a show of hands, who thinks oral closing is more important than written closing? Okay, it's a tough question. It was a question that I had to talk to Tom Hopkins about, and he changed my mind too.
Could both be an answer?
Both are important, but if one was more important than the other, what would you say?
It's hard because
It's good.
somebody will always say yes,
Yeah.
and they're written, they say nothing. Somebody can write it down before you say no and cancel it.
Yeah. So, believe it or not, oral closing is more important than written closing on how you deliver it. How your delivery of the oral closing is. Because there's times where if you don't deliver it correctly, it's not going to hit home more. But Tom explained to me both of these are very important, but in his opinion, oral closing is more important than written closing. Those are the two basic types of closing. At what point do you know when to close? What point do you start filling out the forms? What part do you transition into the home? At what point do you know when to close?
I kind of ask a couple closing questions before I get the confirmation, and then I move on to the close.
Trial questions, test closes, good. Okay. You close when they slow down the pace. You close when they ask more questions. You close when you receive positive stimulus. And you close when they favor your test closes. Exactly what he said there. Okay, you guys want to learn different types of closes?
Let's go.
Okay. It's one of my favorite closes right here. It's called the triplicate of choice close. So this is the breakdown of the close. I'm going to recite the close for you for roofing and for solar. We'll start with solar, then I'll go to roofing. And then I want to explain to you the concept for it. So the ideal situation when a family goes solar is they realize they're shifting a liability into an asset, and they're willing to pay that upfront cost, which is also the reason that kind of like halters people from moving forward. Now, there are the fortunate few that are rich. You know, these people have to pay for everything out of pocket, the permitting, the installation, everything. Now, because of certain circumstances and situations, there's some families that could only do this if we exempted them from all the upfront costs and keep them at the same amount that they were already paying. You see, the concept of they don't even go through their insurance and they take $20,000, $30,000 out of their checking account and they just pay for this out of pocket. Now, because of certain circumstances and situations, there's some families that could only do this if we could show them a way that all they were responsible for was their deductible, and we would do all the work. And they would have the ability to have the peace of mind to know that their biggest investment of their home had the roof replaced. Do you guys understand the concept? The ideal situation, you're starting higher. The fortunate few, you're going way higher. And then because of certain circumstances and situations, there's some families that could only do this if we could show them a way that they would be exempt from all the labor fees and all they were responsible for was their deductible. And then you bring it back to what it really is. Start higher, go way higher, go to what it really is. But the key words here to really understand is the ideal situation. Now there are the fortunate few, and because of certain circumstances and situations, and then you move into that close. J. Douglas Edwards says the reason there's so much mediocrity is because people don't know these different types of closes. Fire one coming up right here. It's called the secondary question close. You start with, as I see it, then you pose the major question, then you follow up with, by the way. Then you pose the minor question. So I'm going to give you a generalized example here. As I see it, John, you know, the biggest decision we have to make is how soon you're going to start enjoying these brand new golf clubs. By the way, do you guys play at a public track or do you guys like belong to a private course? Well, I just started golfing, so I guess public. You see, I posed the major question. Without pausing, I said, by the way, and then I hit them with a minor question. So, John, as I see it, you know, you're going to have the installation done on a weekday. It'll all be finished in about 8 hours. By the way, there's something called an inverter. Would you want it placed on the inside or the outside of the garage? So let me ask you guys, how could I use the secondary question close in roofing? As I see it, what's the major question? Getting their roof replaced, right? As I see it,
Well, as I see it, this roof is a little bit smaller, so it should take us about a day. Which side of the driveway would you like the material to drop on?
almost. What were the 3 words that you missed there? By the way. All right, so try it again. One more time, and when you make that transition between the minor, I want you to say by the way.
Okay. As I see it, the roof is a little bit smaller, so it'll probably take us about a day. By the way, which side of the driveway would you like the material dropped off?
Good, just a little faster. So, you know, right, it's got to sound natural. You know, as I see it, you know, we're going to have the installation done in a day. It's a smaller roof. By the way, we're going to have the materials dropped off. Do you want it placed like on the left side of the driveway, or is there another place that's better? Oh yeah, drop it off on the left side. Now you've got that agreement, right? It's called a secondary question close. But understand, I'm just exposing you this information. We go back to those 5 steps of the learning process. You need to actually utilize, internalize, and reinforce to make this all the natural part of you. Okay, I want to think about it. It's called the if everything I said close, okay? So let me ask you, who wants to take a stab at this? If I said I want to think about it, what would your response be? So what would your response? Hey, I just want to think about it.
Sure, I fully agree. Think about it is most important. As we write things down here, I'm going to just ask you, the things that you're thinking about are things that you're going to go home and go inside and talk to your wife about. Tell me some of the things you're going to talk about.
We just want to think about it, man. I really appreciate it, but I mean, if you could just leave me with your business card, and then we'll get back to you.
Sure, fully understand. And as you go in to speak to your wife about this, I know that was one of the things we talked about earlier. I would like to give you some information to share with her as you're discussing.
Oh yeah, I'll take the information.
Yes.
Yeah.
What would you like?
Whatever. I mean, if you just have a brochure or something, or a business card would be fine.
Sure. A brochure on the type of shingles I have, or? What do you
Just
think?
basically a little bit. What is it? Vertex Roofing? Do you guys have like a website?
We do.
Okay.
We do.
I'll probably check that out, and if you leave me with your number, I could get back to you.
Sure. So as you're checking out our website, what are the things you're looking for? Are you looking more for reviews, or are you looking more for pictures of what we've done?
I just want to just give it a little bit of time.
Okay. And when you say time, how much are you thinking?
Maybe just like a week.
A week? So I can put you on the calendar to reach back to you on Tuesday? And on that day, what are the things that we're going to talk about?
I mean, what would probably be best is if I could just call you in a week when I'm ready.
Sure. And before I leave, is there anything that I did not share with you before?
No, you were great, man. I really appreciate it. Let's give it up for him. That was really good, right? So if you add this to that, it's going to get even better, okay? So this is what I like to do, okay? In a situation where somebody says, I want to think about it. I like to start with, hey, I'm going to be really blunt with you. I've done this for so long. Typically when people get into this sort of situation, deep down they know what they want to do, but what happens is people tend to make this a much bigger decision than it really is. If everything that I laid out on this piece of paper is exactly the way that it is, do you think you'd mean more towards the left or towards the right? Okay, that's for solar. For roofing, you can do the same exact thing though. What was your first name?
Antonio.
Antonio, do I have your permission just to be completely blunt with you?
Oh, sure.
I think sometimes when we get this far into the presentation, like deep down you probably know what you want to do, but what happens is sometimes people tend to make this a much bigger decision than it really is, and they end up doing nothing. Obviously there's damage. There's not like the storm just took a U-turn around your house, and if you notice, everybody on the left side of the road has already gotten their roof replaced. They did not win the lottery. But if everything that I laid out for you is the exact way that it is, and the whole entire roof would be replaced, and all you would be responsible for was your deductible, what would you say? If everything that I told you was exactly how it was.
Well, if it's just on my deductible, it's just because I don't have the money.
Of course, and I'm just the first step of the process. Obviously, we have to have the insurance company actually look to make sure there is legitimate damage, and once we get to that next step, I'll submit everything, and my job is to be able to get it approved. If I go to get it approved and they don't approve it, then guess what? We're in the same position that we're in today. So genuinely, there's no way that I can hurt your situation. All I want to do is show you that second option, because if the insurance company told you that you were being reactive about this situation, then it's just like, you might, when do you think most people get their roofs replaced, Antonio? Like just, when do you think?
Once in a lifetime.
But when do you think is the number one time somebody says, hey, we are going to replace our roof?
Oh, when there's a leak inside.
Yeah, and that's what most people do. But kind of a lot of the families put one and one together and realize that most of the shingles were only rated for 60 mile per hour wind. We had 80 mile per hour wind, so they took advantage of the fact that they were paying an insurance policy, and that's the reason why they have the new stuff and you still have the old stuff. So like I said, I'm just the first step of this process. Mm-hmm. All I want to be able to do is start it for you, and then we go from there, right? Something like that. But going back to the concept of I want to think about it, is they're making it a much bigger decision than it really is. Deep down, they know what they want to do, and if everything that I said was exactly how it was, do you think you'd lean more towards not replacing it or replacing it? Well, guess what? Everything that I said was exactly how it is. There is no more, there is no less.
I like that, because what you're doing is, obviously there's a lot of information. If you're the customer, I know more about. As you're the customer, this is just a whole bunch of stuff. So by saying, you know what, it's not as a big deal. Let's slow it down.
People sometimes tend to make this a much bigger deal than it really is, and they end up doing nothing. Deep down, you probably know what the better decision is. I don't believe in high pressure. I'm not a used car salesman. I actually have empathy for you. That's a really good one when people are upset. And you know what I do when people get upset at me now? You know who I blame? Upper management. Everybody has upper management. I'm so sorry. Upper management makes me do this. And they have upper management too, so they empathize with you. But that's a really good one right there. Is I always blame upper management. Yeah, I apologize, man. I have empathy for you. You know, the upper management makes me do this. And then when they're like, "Can you read? It says no soliciting." Sorry, sir, I can't read. That's why I do door to door. All right, I want to think it over. Anybody know what the instant reverse close is? Very simple one. Every single one of you guys can learn it. That's exactly why you should do it. You can use that on any objection. I'm moving, I'm not interested, anything. Obviously, you don't want to use it over and over and over again. That's called hobby horses, using the same lines that become redundant. But that's exactly why you should do it. Right? I'm moving. Oh, that's exactly why you should do it. And then you go into actually building the value. Feel, felt, found. How many of you guys know this one? Okay. What was your name?
Eric.
Eric, give me an example of the feel, felt, found. You sell solar, right?
Yeah.
Okay, give me the example. How would you say that if I was like, yeah, man, I've looked into it. I just don't think it's the best timing for us.
I totally understand how you feel. A lot of other people in this area have felt the same way. What they found is that I don't have a feel, felt, found for that one.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's what you have to understand is, everyone give it up for him, right? Yeah. So you can do this very basic, or you can do this very extent. Like, Mary, I totally understand how you feel. It's funny because I've done this for so long. Actually, the lady Mary on the corner, she was a little dramatic, but she felt very similar until she actually found out the fact that she would be able to save money on a bill she was never going to cancel. Because at the end of the day, we can both agree the utility bill is 100% interest. Like if you move, they're not giving you any of that money back. It's like paying a landlord or taking that money and throwing it into a trash can rather than paying yourself. But how many years have you guys even lived here, right? So I use feel, felt, found, then a little bit of a takeaway, right? But there's different ways that you can use these techniques, to be able to get them to feel a certain way. Remember we talked about sales being the art of blending complete opposites: communication, persuasion, trust, respect, assertive, nice, assertive, kind, egotistically humble. But it's how I make them feel when I ask these questions. The trust close. So the biggest objection I need to overcome with families is trust. It's like having a cell phone with no service. All you can really do is play games. I'm not here to play games, so level with me. How much of what I said do you actually believe? That's a very sharp angle type question. That's a very good one for you guys to all write down. Level with me. How much of what I said do you actually believe? Level with me. How much of what I said do you actually believe? Okay, going back to it sounds way too good to be true. Bottom line, you're going to fall in one or two categories. Being able to have these internalized are going to be a huge help to your income. So if you're willing to give me 1% of your trust today, I'm willing to earn the other 99% as we go. If we took all the emotion out of the equation and this was logical, you would do it, wouldn't you? Because if you commit to the first step, I will do the rest. Right? Being able to have these lines in your bag. If you feel as if the right side is a little better than the left, I'm asking you to move your best foot forward today and we can put you into a more economical position. There's a right way and a wrong way to power our homes, but if you have the ability to pay less than a bill we'll never cancel, there's really no way we can hurt your situation. I definitely feel as if people hesitate to pay full price on things they don't need to. I definitely feel as people want to be more economical with a bill they're never going to cancel. Right? Being able to utilize these in your bag when you need them. Anybody know what a sharp angle close is? Sharp angle closing. Has anybody ever heard of the phrase sharp angle close? Okay, sharp angle close is a close used in response to a prospect question about the product. When a prospect asks, does the product do X? A rep responds, if it did, would you be ready to move forward today? Okay, so does the system come with the new panels? Sir, if I could get you the new panels, would you be ready to move forward today? Right, that's sharp angle. You want to move right into the decision. Trial test closing. They're open-ended, opinion-asking questions. So how are you feeling about all this so far? Are you guys pretty excited? Does that make sense? Being able to trial and test close 50 times before you get to the close. There is no close. There's no resistance because the certainty is high and the anxiety is low. And then going back to, yeah, that's the thing. Next time you hear an objection that's not a real objection, it's a smoke screen, just say, yeah, that's the thing, and you just keep moving forward. If they bring it up again, I say, obviously you have a reason for saying that. Would you mind sharing it with me? Obviously, you have a reason for saying that. Would you mind sharing it with me? Very good question to ask. The average buyer, I want you guys to all read this. Let's all read this out loud if you can. On 3, 1, 2, 3. The average buyer accomplishes the close after the 5th closing attempt. This is why if you know 1 or 2 closes, they have more reasons for not going ahead than you have techniques to help them to get ahead. It's crazy to think about, right? Going back to what I said at the beginning, do you have the willingness to pay the price? It's a lot of work. You guys are working today. This is hard. You've got to use your brain if you want to comprehend the stuff that I'm saying. Probably sure if you're strobe lighting right now, this is all going in one ear and out the other one. How serious are you about your profession? Right, this guy right here, he's at every seminar and he's always the first one here, front row. And why do you commit to learning so much?
Because I have the understanding that sales is just a reflection of oneself, and the better that I can personally develop myself is the better that I can be out there in the field. So I dedicate to just becoming a better salesman so I can build a better future for myself.
Ian, why do you commit to learning so much? Alex. Who's Ian? Ian's not here?
What's it called? It's just, every time, so I've been doing this for about 4 years now, and when I first met you back in 21, when we went to go door knock and you helped my company out, I saw the other side of the industry of sales. I saw actually having fun with it versus looking at it as a job. And I don't feel like I'm working, man. I mean, it's changed my life, and actually 4 months after you came out to my company, I had the best month of my career. I sold $230,000.
You guys know what a golf clap is? Where you just go like this? Let's do a little golf clap for him. Just sounds cool, sorry. All right, steps to use after you use a close and it does not work. You apologize, right? I'm sorry. Summarize the benefits with tie downs. You did like the fact that, the roof would be replaced and all you would be responsible for was your deductible, didn't you? You did like the fact that you would have the new charcoal shingle and the new architectural shingle roofs, not the old stuff, didn't you? And then you asked your leading question to bridge to the next close. I know I went through that kind of fast, but those are things that we have agreed upon, haven't we? Right? Gain the agreements from the families that you serve. Under that, I want you to write BRS. Okay? So you guys should have positive, strong, number one, and then BRS. I'm going to say, how's your attitude? And what are you going to say?
Positive.
I'm going to say, how does that make you feel? And what are you going to say?
Strong.
I'm going to say, we are. What are you going to say?
Number 1.
Born to be.
Number 1.
Shall remain.
Number 1.
We are.
BRS.
All right. So this is how it's going to work. We're going to start very low. You got to do it in the same tone as me. How's your attitude?
Positive.
No, that wasn't the right tone. We're going to start over. It's got to be I want to see who can match my energy the best, and who does this best is going to get a prize.
Okay.
So you got to match my exact energy. How's your attitude? How does that make you feel? We are born to be, shall remain. We are. All right, one more time. For the most energy, this is going to be a sick prize. So, how's your attitude? How does that make you feel? We are. Born to be. Shall remain. We are. Kid with the goatee's got it, bro. Sorry, he just absolutely ripped you guys. I mean, you should have saw him from the beginning. You two were pretty good too, but I gotta be fair here, You got a new binder for all your slicks, bro. All right, ready? We're gonna tap in. We were supposed to end at this time, but we still have a lot more to cover. When I say we're gonna tap in, we are physically going to tap in. Tap in. Come on, I need you guys to tap in with me. We're tapping in. Okay, I want you to repeat after me. I'm positive. I'm strong. I'm successful. I'm good. I'm undefeated. We're going to make some plays. We're going to make some plays. Let's play the game. Okay, now you tapped in. Get your pens out. Not taking notes is like eating spaghetti with a spoon. You're going to get a lot on you, but you're not going to get a lot in you. The whole goal is that you get this in you today. All right? So we are going to talk about nasty words. What is the greatest enemy? What did we talk about the greatest enemy being? Fear. False evidence appearing real. Can you guys hear me in the back? Pretty good? Okay. If you guys can't hear me, just put your hands up. I'll go back to the microphone. So we want to eliminate these nasty words because they create fear within any selling presentation. The first words that we want to not use is cost or price. Nobody wants a cost. Nobody wants a price. We want to say the total investment or the total amount. Okay? The same way that I don't say your monthly payment, I say your monthly amount. Because these nasty words will remind people of bad past selling experiences. A down payment is an initial investment or an initial amount. A monthly payment should be a monthly investment or a monthly amount. What about the word contract? Okay? Contract's scary, right? What do you want to say instead of contract? Form, agreement, or? Starts with a P? Paperwork. Got it. Paperwork, agreement, or form. I had a lady when I was going over her, I showed her all the damage to her roof. I helped her file the claim. And then after I filed the claim, I had the agreement in front of her. I was like, okay, the next step is we just have to okay these forms. And then she's like, I'm not signing any sort of contract today. Oh, no, that's fine, miss. We don't have to sign any sort of contracts, but what we do need to do is okay these forms, which will allow the next step to happen where we actually inspect the roof. Okay. She okayed the form, she wouldn't sign the contract because it's fear-producing words. People don't want to buy things from you. What do they want to do? Starts with an O. You don't want to buy it, you want to... Somebody said it. Own. People don't want to buy something, they want to own it. We do not sell anything to anybody. We're not selling you. You're not getting sold. You know what we do? What do? We help them acquire or we get them involved. I was able to get a lot of the families involved with, getting their roofs replaced from the damage. They were, I don't know if you know Judy, and I'll always refer back to other people and, hey, this is why they're doing it. So, seller sold, we get them involved or we help them acquire. An objection, we want to call that a concern or an area of concern. Concerns or areas of concern. People don't want to sign it. What do we have them do? Okay. What's another one we could use? Approve. Authorize. Anybody like baseball here? Couple? Nobody? All right. Endorse, right? Endorse. There was a commercial I was going to refer to. Approve, authorize, or endorse. What about a deal? Why would deal be a bad word? Why would deal be a nasty word? How many of you guys have ever gotten to a deal and it wasn't a good one? Thought it was a deal and then it reminds you, oh, the last time we had this deal, it didn't end up turning out the way that we wanted it to. So instead of using the word deal, we want to use the opportunity or the transaction. This is an unbelievable opportunity for families to take advantage of. What about the P word right here? Pitch. What is a pitch?
Presentation.
What is a pitch, though? Let's say it what it is. What is a pitch? What is it? Nope. What's a pitch? What was it?
Throwing the ball.
Yes, that's what a pitch is. Throwing a baseball, right? That's what a pitch is. Give me another example of a pitch.
A roof.
Nope. Yeah, wait, what?
A roof pitch.
Like the angle.
Yeah.
That's a pitch. Somebody give me another example. These are pitches. Talking about sales, that's not a pitch, that's a nasty word. What? Nope. That's not a pitch is I can use pitch if I'm saying it's pitch black outside. I can say pitch if I'm referring to a soccer field in Europe. I can say pitch if I'm referring to an angle of a roof, or I can say pitch if I'm referring to a baseball player's throw. What you guys do is you do not pitch anybody anything. If I said, hey, let me pitch you, what do you think they're going to say? Get the heck out of here, bro. You know? I'm not pitching, I'm presenting, or I have a presentation. The idea behind the nasty words is that you learn to eliminate them from your vocabulary at all times, so that when you're in selling situations that they don't come out. So it's like, why don't I use the word pitch around my friends even when there's no homeowners around? Is because I'm working on my vocabulary as a salesman. What about customer? What would you say instead of a customer? What? Families we serve. The families that we help get involved with this program. The people that we serve. What about an appointment? Why would an appointment be a nasty word?
Because you can cancel an appointment.
What do most people do with appointments?
Cancel.
Okay, what would I want to say instead of appointment? Okay, we want to pop by and visit. Actually, I'm going to be pretty busy until about 7. Do you know where Cocoa Court is? Okay, I have to finish up with the Johnson family and make sure that their inspection is complete at 6:30. But what I can do is I can just pop by once I finish with theirs. Sounds a lot better than saying, hey, I'm going to set an appointment at 7 p.m. You have to be here. Then they want to cancel. A lot of times people set appointments to get rid of you. What was it? A meetup? I just say pop by. I wouldn't try to reinvent the formula. Pop by and visit. This comes directly from Tom Hopkins. So pop by and visit. What about cheaper? I'm able to get you a cheaper roof.
Cost efficient.
Good, okay. More economical, most economical. I'm giving you the most economical option to be able to get the highest quality. So not cheaper, but more economical or most economical. We don't have problems. That's a nasty word. What do we have? Nope, we don't have problems. We have, starts with a C, challenge. We don't have problems. We have challenges. What about this one? To be honest with you. To be honest, sir. Honestly, you know, like, all right, fine, I'll be honest, you know. A lot of you guys say sales is a transfer of energy. It's actually a transfer of energy, but it's also a transfer of trust. Okay, transference of trust. The only objection you face is trust. What would you say instead of to be honest?
To be blunt.
To be blunt with you, to be frank, to be direct. You can use all those, but stop saying to be honest. It creates fear with the homeowners. To be blunt. So what's the opposite of a nasty word? Is a glamour word. Commonly known words that are uncommonly used. Who wants to give me an example of a glamour word? Let's see if you guys know. Any glamour words? Commonly known word that's uncommonly used. Let's see if you can guess it. So Judy was a little dramatic, but what she told me was the utility company was just seizing money out of her bank account. She had no other option but to retreat.
Seize and retreat.
Yep, what else? Dramatic, seize, retreat. You see how I'm interjecting these words to build excitement during a presentation. Phenomenal, robust. I'm not using it every single time, but when I need to build excitement during a presentation, I'm inserting glamour words, and I'm using my volume, my pace, my range, and my diction. Okay? Who can give me another example of a glamour word? Glamorous, right? Think about it. Unparalleled. Reconciled. Exempt. Being able to use these words can build excitement during a presentation. What percentage of communication do you guys feel like is body language?
75.
75. Anybody else want to take a guess? 85. Anybody else want to take a guess? 70%? 55% is body language. 38% is your tonality, the sound, the frequency, the range, the diction. And only 7% is actually the words that you speak. You need to be dynamic and you need to create that curiosity throughout the process. It's not what I say, it's not how I say it, it's how I can make them feel. Needs formula. This is your steps to being able to qualify. You cannot close somebody unless you understand what they want and how it will benefit their situation. This is the easiest way to qualify a family. What do they have now? What do they enjoy most about what they have now? What would they alter or improve considering change? Why in them is involved with the final decision, and then what is the solution? So breaking that down to the absolute ridiculous, what do they have now? What do they enjoy most about what they have now? What would they alter? Who's the decision maker? What's the solution? That's the steps to being able to qualify. Presentation, keys to making a good presentation. You tell them what you're going to tell them, you tell them, and then you tell them what you've told them. Repetition, baby. I do not have a complicated sales process. I probably say the same 20 things like different times, and I use a lot of analogies and a lot of hypothetical situations. You keep them involved mentally and physically. You want to know the number one most important thing about presenting? The number one most important thing about presenting, the most powerful tool, is you get the family physically involved with the process. If there's a button to press, you have them press it. If there's a lever to pull, you have them pull it. When I did the 114 roof sales in 11 days, I had full command over the situation because I never left the homeowner. There was never a time where I was like, hey, I'll be back in 7 minutes to go check out your roof. So as the other person's up there on the roof, what I'm doing when I'm with the homeowner is I'm weaving those opposites that we talked about at the beginning, the communication and the persuasion. You know, like I said, you know, he's actually going to be able to go blah, blah, blah. Oh, by the way, did you watch the football game last night? And then I talk to them about that, like being a human being. And then I come back to talking about the roof or the solar. And then I go back to being able to just be a human being with them. And that weaving is one of the most important things that allows me to get sales, is going back and forth with simple lines like I said, and then you get back into the comfortable get down to business statement. So presenting. The 4 P's of presenting, it starts with prospecting. The best thing I ever heard about prospecting is you prospect your way out of ever having to prospect. You present, you position value, and you drop pricing. Most people don't know the third one, which is positioning value. So closing, creating the decision. How do we create this emotional decision? I want you to take a picture of this because we don't have the time. This is my exact process on every step on what I do to close the sale. From the red is what I do when I set. The blue is what I do when I close. The red, I'll break this down for you. Affirmation. Dude, this is a done deal. They're already talking about it. This is dude, they're getting crushed with sun, or dude, their roof is trashed, bro. This would be ridiculous, dude. They're already talking about it. This is a done deal, bro. They're already talking about it, right? I've affirmed what was going to happen. Who you are. Oh, hi, sir. How are you? My name is Taylor McCarthy. Actually, the reason I'm coming by is like a little bit different. I'll pretty much cut to the chase. I'm going to give you the short version today. That's typically the beginning part of my presentation. Then I ask a soft question. The soft question is, I don't know if you know. And then I'm putting something in their hand because I've got to create that curiosity. I don't know if you know. Then I tell a story. Through telling the story, I create a pain. If there's no pain, there will be no change. It's kind of like I analogize the pebble in my shoe. I could walk with a pebble in my shoe this whole time, but if it was a shard of a Bud Light glass, I'm not walking one more step because it's going to cause me pain. When you knock on somebody's door that has damage on their roof, what do they have in their shoe? They have a pebble. It's not a big deal. They can deal with it another time. When you knock on somebody's house that has a $130 power bill, $100, $200 power bill, it's on auto pay, it's a pebble in their shoe. Whose job is it to turn the pebble into a shoe into a glass shard?
Mine.
Yeah, it's your attitude, your belief, your conviction on actually helping them. Clarity, repetition, energy, belief, and service. After I create the pain, I go into a potential solution, but I'm still taking it away, how they would be potentially involved, how they would be rewarded, why this makes sense, reflex, and then I rebuild the report. Then on the close, I have normal just conversation, then I go into an intent statement. An intent statement is your comfortable get down to business statement. And for solar, the way my intent statement goes is like this. Who's in solar? What was your name again? Sorry, Eric. So Eric, I really want to thank you for the time that you're even giving me. I always like to tell all the families that I help get involved with this program to keep this somewhat exploratory, meaning my job as a solar professional is really just to put a line down this middle piece of paper and show you an apples to apples comparison. It's a pretty cut and dry process, but one thing I am going to challenge you to do over the course of the next 15 minutes is I want you to look for every reason this is not going to make sense. And if you can identify it, the idea is we'd shake hands and nothing would change. However, if we can only identify the situation being better for you, the idea is you would go to the back of the line. There's 3 specific check marks we need to obtain. Then we're able to schedule the installation. Then it gets installed, and the sun goes up and the bills go down. You see, I'm challenging him to look for all the reasons, but I'm anchoring at the beginning so I don't get I want to think about it at the end. You know, and then I'm showing them something logical, like an apples to apples comparison, to be able to show both options when it comes to solar. For roofing, most of the time, I wasn't even going in the house. I was doing the sale right there on the doorstep, and then somebody else would do all the inspector meetings, and all I would focus on is getting people to, you know, file claims and communicate with them, and then I text them after. One thing that a lot of you guys need to start doing is saving your phone number in the homeowner's when I save their number in my phone, but getting the homeowner to save your phone number in their phone, why is that so important?
That's a friend.
Well, what do you do when you get texts from people that you don't have the number saved? You ignore it. So you go like, you know, Billy Roofer with an emoji. Then once I send them a text, this is critical. I send them a text and I say like Taylor Solar or Taylor Roofing with a little like hammer or something. Just so I know that you got that text, can you send me a quick thumbs up emoji, or if you want to surprise me, send your favorite emoji? Why would I ask a homeowner to send me an emoji? Who sends emojis to each other? If I can create an emoji relationship with a homeowner over a long time period, what is that going to lead to? Continued business, okay? Small little things, guys, but very, very important to do. Most salespeople, when they get into a slump and they're still working all the hours, and they're like, I don't know what's going on, I'm putting in all the effort, but I'm not getting the result. You want to know probably what you're doing? You stop telling the whole story. You're skipping steps in your presentation. Just because you set up Lewis without having to go through, you know, your intent statement or really doing a good inspection, when you start skipping steps in your presentation, that's typically when it will happen when you go into a slump. So J. Douglas Edwards says, if you're in a slump, go back to telling the entire story and not skipping steps of your presentation. So, you know, I go over this intent statement, which anchors it all. Then I go over these questions that ultimately determine whether or not I pick their home. Then I show them the apples to apples comparison. And then, you know, the whole time it's just weaving communication and persuasion. That's really all that it is the entire time. Like we talked about before, the 5 most important rules are the clarity, the repetition, the energy, the belief in the service. That's the effective sales process. I already told you guys, but what did I tell you was the number 1 most powerful technique in selling? When you lose this, you lose the sale every time. You have to take the command position. You have to have the control of the sale. When you don't, you lose every single time. When you control the presentation to a predetermined decision, you will master these control devices. You will command the attention, the involvement, the flow of the presentation, the potential rejection, and the emotion. Okay? Control the presentation to a predetermined decision. When you master these control devices, you will command attention, involvement, the flow, the potential rejection, and the actual emotion. Okay? Give you guys a second to fill that in. Okay, this is the culmination of an effective sales process, is a closed sale. I want you guys to actually fill this in. Usually this is all goes by 1, but it looks like it was already filled in. First step, what do we have to do? Right, first step, what do we have to do? Develop the right attitude and
Enthusiasm.
Okay, then what do we want to do? We want to establish rapport by giving a sincere
Compliment.
Come on, I need you guys involved here. Wake up. Cover the
Agenda.
with the intent statement. Then we what with needs? Qualify. And we give our presentation. We address the concerns. We test close. We ask the reflex question. We fill out the paperwork. And we ask for the approval. Okay? These are the steps that will culminate in an effective sales process. Well, what's the first thing you have to develop? The clarity of attitude and the enthusiasm, the spirit that you have within you. The spirit that you have within. Take a second to fill this out. While we're filling it out, number 1 through 20.
15.
Nope.
13.
12.
3. 17.
7. 14. 8.
1. 13.
What's the deal with my
No one said it. We're going to do a new game. Number 1 through 10. If I don't hear it, then it's 1. 1. Who said 1? All right, 1. You large or XL?
XL.
Let's see if that one will fit for you.
This is the one that.
Who would rock this thing right here? So some of you guys are going to be counted out because this is a large. So, all right, well, I got some hands. We'll see. We'll save that one for later. Hey, I wanted a huge shout out to Betty and BRS Roofing as well. Betty has these books, and at the end, they like to really give back. And what I want to do is dude, they invested for all you guys to be here. I know some of you guys traveled, but there's all different types of companies, and they didn't charge you guys a penny to do this. So I want to give it up for Betty and the team here at BRS. And the one thing else that I wanted to ask you guys is completely voluntary, but they have a charity where they actually help people in Colombia. I have a big love for the Latin community. My wife is from Peru, and I've got to spend a lot of time in South America. And if you guys would have it in your heart to actually donate, the money doesn't go to them, the money doesn't go to me. It goes towards supporting kids in South America. Even if it's $1 that you donate, I think it's a good thing considering that you guys got a lot of value today. So once again, let's give it up for Betty and the team. Okay, so this is the culmination of the effective sales process, but this is what I'm focusing on in the first 30 seconds when you knock on somebody's door. How can I create curiosities? First thing you're thinking of. How can I create curiosity? How can I mirror and match this family? How can I be indifferent? How can I have a demeanor? This is going to happen with or without you. You cut to the chase, and the reason I'm coming by is a little bit different. We've went over all the things that we think about, but that's everything that you're focusing on the first 30 seconds. Technique, seeing it being a privilege for us to take care of the entire project, we do require you to write down the top 3 reasons why we should pick your home. All different lines for you, which will be in this workbook, the hypothetical questions, things for you to save. All this is my little one-liners. So you guys have to memorize, practice, drill, rehearse. They're all in the workbook for you. Thoughts, words, emotion, feeling, judgment, decision. We've already went over that formula. The thoughts lead to the words, which create the emotion, which will create the feeling, which will create the judgment, which will create the decision. And the last thing that I wanted to share with you guys before I show you the big one, which I've never showed anybody actually. It's the first time presenting this material. We'll do it at the end. But the frustration that you have when you allow that to dwell, the average person will quit or get mad. The champion will be creative. Things that I think about in my mind. Some do, some don't. So what? Someone's waiting. He who angers you controls you. First comes the action, then comes the motivation. Who can think of an affirmation that they would say to themselves out loud that helped them make sales easy? Sales are easy. There's one. Sales are easy. Tough times don't last, only tough people do. What else?
I love it when they tell me no.
I love it when they tell me no.
It was talking about
Rejection turns me on, baby. Right? You know what's crazy is I shifted the mindset. I don't even get paid on a sale. I don't. I do that out of a goodwill. I do that because I really want to help people. I do that out of a willingness to help somebody. What I do get paid is for the rejection. That's why rejection turns me on. I had one lady, 18 no's deep with this lady. She's about to shut her door. I said, Mary, before you shut the door, just so I know, you want to opt out of this program and stay with the utility company, correct? She's like, yes. I'm like, let's go! Let's go! I was like, thank you so much. I actually just earned $3,000. So I'm just going to check you off the list as wanting to stay with the utility company. Because we don't get paid when people say yes. We get paid when people say no. So just to confirm, because it's $3,000 for me, you're saying no right now, right? And she's like, what? She shut the door, but guess who went to the next door with a smile on his face? Keeping the attitude, right? Well, it's the small little things.
Better yet, that homeowner's lost and another homeowner's gain.
Yeah, their loss. Their loss, my gain, right?
I know in the beginning when I first started knocking, the nose like really beat me down. And once I switched that mindset, I'm hoarse from all that yelling. Thanks for the bag, man. But once I switched that mindset, it really it was a game changer.
Yeah.
Because I'd walk away smiling and be just as chipper knocking on the
Yeah, everyone's been like super friendly out here today. Like everyone's like so friendly. You know, this isn't a doorstep decision, sir. You know, like being able to have those in your bag doesn't necessarily mean I need to use every one of these one-liners in every presentation, but I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it on a certain situation. Okay, these are the reasons that will motivate you. We've talked about them before. What were the two biggest motivators we talked about at the beginning? The need to be comfortable and the need to be challenged. And the two things that will demotivate us are the boredom and burnout. These are other motivators. These are some of the demotivators. The fear of failure, pain of change. And this breaks down the danger zone versus the comfort zone, how to be able to stay, right? That's all going to be in your workbook. Culture, the core tenets of success. Compromising on talent within your team is toxic. These are relationship building skills, things that I don't compromise when I look to hire people. I need them to be mission-oriented, customer-focused, and self-motivated. If they're not coachable, not self-disciplined, not authentic, that's a big one. Loyalty is rare. The three biggest things I look for in business is trust, loyalty, and longevity. But dude, you'll see a lot of fake people living fake lives. I'm going to tell you that right now, so watch out for those people. Alignment, you have to be able to be aligned with your team, one of the most important things. And then this is a formula for you guys that's in your workbook, which is called the 7 P's of promotion. Visualize and verbalize what you want. And this is going to be the formula that I share with you on how you scale your business. So like I said, the goal of the training today is to help you think completely different than you've ever thought before. This is going to be the actual formula to actually get better at selling. I said there's one thing that comes before discipline. What do you think that is? What comes before discipline?
action. What? Motivation. Desire.
Desire. About opposite thinking, reverse thinking. And there's 5 specifics that we're going to talk about today. Actually, some of these are, I think some of these are cut off, maybe the printer, but some of them should be good. Just let me know when those are all handed out to the back, and then we're going to start. What? So everyone grab one. So some of them are cut off at the end, but I want you, if you guys, what I'm going to do is if you guys send me a DM, I'll send you the whole one. It looks like the paper didn't come out correct. All right, turn them over. Opposite reverse thinking, all right? Mastering success is a matter of mastering resilience to failure. I want you to start thinking of ways that you deal with failure. These 11 invaluable statements and ideas that have been my reminders in helping me to navigate through the swarm of rejection and hostility. Okay? The first thing is we have to flip the flop. I never see failure as failure, but only as a learning experience. I want you to recite that. Everybody, on three. 1, 2, 3.
I never see failure as failure, but only as a learning experience.
I never see failure as failure, but as the redirection to perfect precision.
I never see failure as failure, but as the redirection to my perfect precision.
Key quest. I never see failure as failure, but only as the negative feedback I need to change course in my direction.
I never see failure as failure, but only as the negative feedback I need to change course in my direction.
I never see failure as failure, but as the quest for the right key.
I never see failure as failure, but as a quest for the right key.
See, we have to laugh to be able to last. I never see failure as failure, but as the opportunity to develop my sense of humor.
I never see failure as failure, but only as the opportunity to develop my sense of humor.
I never see failure as failure, but as the opportunity to be amused by hostile people and turned on by rejection.
I never see failure as failure, but only as the opportunity to be amused by hostile people and to be turned on by rejection.
Practice to ace. I never see failure as failure, but only as the opportunity to practice my techniques and perfect my performance.
I never see failure as failure, but only as an opportunity to practice my techniques and perfect my performance.
I never see failure as failure, but as a vital rehearsal in the art of success.
I never see failure as failure, but as a vital rehearsal in the art of success.
Wager to win. I never see failure as failure, but only as the game I must play to win.
I never see failure as failure, but only as the game I must play to win.
I never see failure as failure, but as the match I relentlessly play.
I never see failure as failure, but as the match I relentlessly play.
Pride and stride. I never see failure as failure, but the chance to make my loved ones proud.
I never see failure as failure, but the chance to make my loved ones proud.
You see, it's the way that you think about rejection, the way that you think about failure, that you can actually go back to this sheet. What I'm going to do is, if you guys message me on Instagram, I will send you the PDF, which has colors and everything, and you guys should get it laminated. Get them laminated and look at this every single day. Now, question for you guys: out of all those on there, what is one that kind of like resonates with you the most out of all 11 of those affirmations? All right, let's raise your hand. Let's. I want to get some feedback here. Okay.
Laugh to last.
Laugh to last. Okay. Why does that resonate with you?
Because it's always my goal to make people laugh when I'm at the door.
Okay.
I continue to have fun with it.
Great. Right. Laugh till be able to last. What else? Something that resonates with you?
So say 4 or 5 techniques, basically. I always can see that I'm going to get better at my skills, and I could always work on my skills to always get better.
Yeah, it's a learning experience. That's great. You don't see failure as failure, but as a learning experience. Anybody else? Resonate. Which one resonated with you? Right here.
The laugh well, because I'm definitely inspired by being turned on by the hostile people.
Amused by hostile people and turned on by rejection, baby. So you have to have fun with it. If everyone can take out your phone, I'm going to give you one more ask, okay? If you guys want to be able to connect with me and have me help you guys along your journey, if you guys go to YouTube, and the only thing that I ask is to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then it's Taylor McCarthy on YouTube. If you guys are not already subscribed, there's a ton of value on there for you guys to be able to help take your game to the next level. And then any of you guys that want to connect with me on Instagram, it's Taylor MCC Solar. But I want you guys to subscribe to the channel. Once I leave here, I'm taking an RV up the East Coast, and I'm just going to be focusing on massive activity. We got this fire camera right here with Tim. Everyone want to say something to the YouTube channel? Come on, guys. It's fun. Let's go. All right, so this is the thing that I want you guys to actually practice and actually memorize all 11 of these affirmations, and understand that when you have things that happen during the day, or that might be like a pothole on your journey, that you can understand that you never see failure as failure, but only as the game that you play to win. That you relentlessly play, and something that you have fun with. So thank you guys so much. The next step is I want to do some role playing with people up in the front. So I need a volunteer. Okay, right here. Come on up. Okay.
Let's shake it off.
All right, good. The best practice right here. Okay. And I need a homeowner. Who's going to be the homeowner? All right, right here. Come on.
I don't know, he's got to ask the wife.
All right, so what we're going to do is, you guys both sell solar, you sell roofing?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want you to do is, we're going to start with, actually, you know what? Everybody, do we have an open area actually? Is there any way we can slide these tables? Let's do this. Everyone on their feet. We're going to slide these tables this way a little bit. Okay, we're going to slide these tables this way a little bit. And I need to have, slide them a little bit. Everyone try to slide these tables a little bit, just so I can have a clear path. I need a clear path right here. I need a clear path. Okay, I need a clear path if we can. Okay, this is going to be a fun one. I need everybody to create 2 lines and point to somebody across. So for example, if I had a partner right here, there's one person that's across, and we're going to create a huge line right here. I need one big line. One big line with people's back here, and then one person across from them. Find a partner. Whatever you have to do, just find a partner. It doesn't have to be in a line. Find a partner. Everybody find a partner. Everyone has a partner. Okay. Everyone listen. Everyone listen. This is how it's going to work. Now, find your partner. One of you guys is going to be the sales professional. The other one's going to be the homeowner. I am going to be coming around as you guys are actually presenting, and I'm going to be asking you questions that you will have to answer. For example, if I'm in the middle of my presentation, I come up to you and I say, what's 9 plus 3? You're going to have to say, and there's 12 panels that would go onto the roof, and you've got to go with the presentation. So I'm going to be asking you questions to actually work with your interruption while you're presenting. So pick right now, raise your hand if you're going to be presenting. One of you guys is presenting. Okay? The opposite of the presenter is going to be the homeowner. Okay? Does everybody have a partner? Okay, does everyone know who's the presenter?
Yes.
Okay, on 3, I want you to self-talk for 10 seconds, and then when I say knock the door, then you're going to knock. So 1, 2, 3, self-talk out loud. This is a sale, they're already talking about it. This is already done. They get crushed with roof. Okay, knock the door. 1, 2, 3, knock. Five plus 5.
Still think too long.
Use that for reverse psychology. Okay.
Go.
What's up, man? What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. I'm super quick. What's going on? Are you the homeowner or mine?
I'm the homeowner.
Oh, you're the homeowner.
All right, go.
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Good. I'll be super quick. My name is Ole. I work for a group called Southeast Energy Solutions. I'm not sure if you know this, but you got a crazy amount of sunlight up top. Have you ever seen that before?
Yeah, I know.
12 plus 12.
Oh, yeah. It can fit like 24 panels up top. I'm not sure.
5 plus 7.
12.
5 times 5.
10.
5 times 5.
25.
Keep going.
How much is your power?
So, it might be a problem. I've got a whole roof replacement. No problem.
13 times 2. 5 plus 5. Minus 3. 5 plus 5, bro.
Kill that shit.
How long have you been doing it?
25 minus 6.
So there's 19 reasons I can give you right now for why you
We're almost done. I'm just finishing up right here.
Expire, so
12 plus 6.
20.
12 plus 6.
18.
Five times 6.
30. Times the
30 seconds to close the sale. 30 seconds to get in the house. Close it up. All right. On 3, the quiet game starts. 1, 2, 3. All right, good. That always works. My mom used to do that when I was a kid. All right, so very good. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to actually reverse roles. So the homeowner is now going to be the sales professional or the servant, and vice versa. So 10 seconds of self-talk. This is going to be a deal. This would be ridiculous. They get absolutely crushed. Dude, they're going to get a new roof. I'm going to help them. 10 seconds of self-talk, and then when I say go, you're going to knock the door. Ready, go. Self-talk. Self-talk, done deal. It would be ridiculous for them not to do it. This would be ridiculous. They were already talking about it. 1, 2, 3, knock. Is that thing working or it's fucking up? It's working?
It's just.
I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Yeah.
Take your time.
Yeah.
When I change focal lengths, I gotta calibrate it. Yeah, it is hot though.
30 seconds to close the sale. Come on, transition into the house. Come on, 30 seconds. All right, everybody wrap it up. 3, 2, 1, quiet game. All right, everybody in their seats. We're gonna go over some quick feedback, and then I'm gonna see what I got on stage. I need a really good homeowner. I'm gonna go through my solar presentation, and I'm gonna go through my roofing presentation for you guys. So, everybody take a seat. We're almost done, guys. I'm going to finish off with going through my presentation, a live role play with a homeowner. So I need to get some feedback from you guys, though. Feedback from you guys. Who wants to give some feedback on the person that was presenting them, something that they liked from the person that was presenting to them?
I like the confidence level.
Who was presenting to you?
This gentleman right here.
Okay, great. And what did you like about his presentation?
He was confident. Every single objection that I threw to him, he looked me dead ass in the eye and just kept on going with it, man. So I really like his confidence. I like his choice of words, his wordplay as well. It was very educated. It wasn't like he was just an amateur talking to me.
Perceived as the professional.
Yeah, perceived as a professional.
Good.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Yeah.
All right, cool. And what's one thing you like from his presentation?
Huh?
What's something you like from his presentation?
He was very articulate with his words as well. You know, he came out with a very steady approach, and I was very open to hearing what he had to say.
Cool. So he created that curiosity by, articulating his verbiage. Anybody else wants to give some feedback on somebody that, presented to them, something that they liked?
He offered pullback.
A lot of
He wasn't trying to, sell me anything or anything like that, so he was knowledgeable too.
Great. Anybody else? Okay. I need 2 homeowners up here. One homeowner that I'm going to present roofing to, and one homeowner that I'm going to present solar to. Do you guys want me to do the roofing presentation first or the solar presentation? Solar. Solar? Okay, so who wants to be the homeowner?
I'll be the roofing homeowner.
All right, you'll be the roofing homeowner. So I need a homeowner up here. What, no one wants to get sold? Yep. You're the homeowner? Okay, cool. So we're gonna go over the solar presentation. So I'm gonna show you the slicks. These are in Spanish, but just pretend they were in English. You can pretty much get it. I already gave away my last set. So, all right. So this is where I would start. I'd have these in a specific order. Now let me explain to you guys. For all of you guys that just got the slicks, I have maybe about 10 more sets left with me. Otherwise, you can order them from the website. But if I'm selling solar, the first thing that I want to show them is the destination. Sell the destination, not the plane. So I have a do not pay electric bill. I'm showing them a negative bill to start. Then I'm showing them all the ridiculous fees and surcharges, what we propose, option A, option B, option C. You pretty much just see how I'll do this. So this is a done deal. These guys are already talking about it. I'm going to self-talk myself. Let's push back right over here. Let me find my phone. Okay. So just back up a couple steps for me, like right here. Get right here. All right, perfect. All right, so let's look at this house. I'm going to definitely sell this guy. He was already talking about it. Let's pull up this location real quick. Yeah, he was sick and tired of paying the electric bill, actually. Bro, it's a completely south-facing roof. This is definitely going to be a sale. This is done. Yeah, he's sick and tired of getting screwed from the utility company. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Oh, hey, sir. How are you? Hey, sorry I'm late. Sorry I'm late. We did want to do about 2 more. I'll pretty much just cut to the chase and give you the short version. You guys know how you have FPL here for the electricity?
Yeah.
Okay, there was a situation that happened. This is your location, 688 Timber Avenue. Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw like the drones in the sky. It wasn't Russia. It wasn't China. We actually the ones that...
I got a bunker, so you know.
Yeah, we conducted all the imagery. If you noticed, all these families that put up like the windmills and like the solar on the house, they did not win the lottery. These people didn't take money out of their checking account.
Thank God.
What happened was they introduced this new technology where the panels are a lot more low profile onto the roof. Mm-hmm. So before all these companies say, you know, we want to sell you this or we want to sell you that, we utilize a few guys as references or kind of like what we refer to as model homes. Mm-hmm. These are like the biggest questions that I get from the families is the roof, the move, the cost, the service, the savings, the ownership. Mm-hmm. As far as your roof, it keeps the house cooler in the summer. If you guys ever move, it transfers over the same way the FPL account would. And then what does it cost? That's like the biggest question. You guys are already paying for it. If I could not take the money that you already give to the utility company and redirect that into actually having control and predictability, we would never actually do it. You see, this is kind of the destination we'd try to get you to. Did you already receive a negative statement as far as the utility bill, like a do not pay electric bill, or did you guys not already receive one of those yet?
No, I never got something like this.
Okay, because that's what happens when the sun goes up and the bills go down because you produce all the power on site. This is what we would propose, is just utilizing the roof as a power plant. I was the one that put together the report. As you can see, like, even if I go into the middle of the winter, this whole portion of the roof just gets absolutely hammered in sun.
Oh, Lord.
So there's 2 specific things that I would show you, where the panels would actually be laid out and what your bill would have been last month. How many years have you guys actually lived here in the house?
About 6 years.
Okay, so the design, like I mentioned, it's about 96% of the way complete. But just so I know, do you know roughly, like ballpark, I don't need to know the exact amount, but just roughly how much is the power bill coming to every month?
I can just tell it to you straight up, man. We pay about a good 600, 500 on
No, on a monthly basis.
It's on a monthly basis, man. We pay about a good, 600, 500.
The 600 isn't on a quarterly bill?
No, it's not a quarter bill. It's monthly, man. I mean, you see the castle that I'm living in.
No, I mean, it's a big house. It's just crazy because my chart only goes up to 250. So you can see in a 30-year period, and most people only live in a home for 3 to 5 years, but they're going to end up donating because we can both agree the utility bill is 100% interest. Right? It's like putting our money into a trash can rather than paying ourselves. So what I would propose is actually utilizing, let me show you actually. So this is the portion of the roof actually that I was looking at, because that part just gets absolutely baked in sun. Do you see like just from that corner on? So if we're able to utilize that as kind of like the power plant, the way that you would be rewarded is all these nasty fees and surcharges that get completely wiped out. So it'd show you an apples to apples comparison. It's a pretty cut and dry process. Give me 1 second.
Do you guys handle the delivery charges?
So this is how it would work. What I would do is I would show you this chart. Okay. If it really is, $500-600, what's your heart attack bill? What does the summer bill come to?
Bro, you don't want to even understand my heart attack.
Okay, so let me, and forgive me, what was your first name?
Bro, my wife can't even sleep on my chest, my heart beating.
I got you. We call it, what the reason I say that is because if I go through this process, you would do it. It's just the hardest part of my job is timing. We can take all the emotion out of this and just see if it's a logical situation where I'd break down the left side, which is a never-ending utility bill, or like paying a landlord, compared to actually paying yourself. These are the questions we go over and kind of like the 9 main reasons why people go solar. They're called Can We Pay questions. I don't know if there's like you said it was 500. Let me text Julio, my lead engineer. He'll have the rest of the design ready in about 2 minutes. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to fill out this specific chart with you. I don't know if there's like a small corner of a table where I can kind of put my stuff down. Do you need me to take off my shoes actually?
You good, man. I got my bodyguard.
Yeah, cool, perfect. Let's go on in then, sir. All right, so that's the transition of what I do during my solar presentation, right? Perfect. He had to be harder on me, though. That was too easy. The next person that comes up better give me mad objections. I need way more objections, guys. Right? You can still give me whatever you got. He's still going to get involved. What are some things you noticed about the way I presented?
Well, I just wanted to ask, like, are you already having a design already built out, or at what point are you getting that you figure out to actually have the design really built out?
So this is what I show them when I knock the door. It's an app on the App Store called Knock Buddy. So I'm showing them like, hey, I was the one that put together the report, and I'm creating curiosity right at the very beginning. Once I get the average amount that they pay for the bill, that's when that I create the design, transition into the home. 5 or 10 minutes later, I have the design. So that's my process. If you have to do 1 or 2 touch and it takes 30 minutes, you can do that. But that's my process and what I'm showing them as the pre-report at the very beginning. Knock Buddy. It's an app on the App Store. Same thing I'm going to show you. I use that same app when I go through the roofing sale too, and I'll show you how I do that after. Because it creates that curiosity at the beginning. What's some other things you noticed that I did during my presentation there?
You don't really leave a lot of time for objections.
Yeah, there's no objections.
Yeah, you're not giving them a lot unless there's a screen on it.
But you notice how I talked about being the assistant buyer. And somebody's taking the command position in every selling situation. I mean, I guarantee the next person that's going to come up here is going to try to give me every objection they can, but it doesn't matter because one person's belief is going to be stronger. You know, and if I'm belief in my head that they have an absolutely screwed roof, and if I don't help them, nobody will, then that's the difference. So you're going to be my roofing homeowner? Okay. Do we want a woman to come up too to be his wife, maybe to give some more objections? Do we want an uncle too, you know, from the back? Hey, you want to know what funny? I'm going to share with you guys this. You guys will like this. So, this is funny. Next time you do role-playing training, do you guys do role-playing training in your office like this?
Yes, sir.
Next time you do role-playing training, send 2 people up there to be the homeowner, and 1 person has to be a dog. They just bark the whole time. If you want, we can have, you know. woof, woof, woof. You know, you have them. You're gonna run into those selling situations, okay? Okay.
Don't make it easy for them.
I don't even sell roofing. I'm gonna sell them right now, guaranteed. Watch.
You salesman.
I'm not a salesman, dude. His roof is crushed, bro. It'd be ridiculous for me not to help him. You know what I mean? So let's look at it real quick. All right, so all right, this house is absolutely hammered. They were talking about it last week. All their neighbors got their roof replaced. They have all the 3-tab. Dude, they have a 3-tab roof. Are you kidding me? I can even see the shingles coming off. All these people that have the architectural shingle, they're probably waiting for me to come talk to them. All right, so this is 2406. This is a done deal.
Where is that? Play next box.
Hello?
Hey.
Really? You want me to open?
No, I'll open them. Hey man,
Hi sir, how are you?
It's Saturday. Are you a roofer?
It's a little bit different. I know it's a heartbreaker. I'm not here to give you any sort of water. Hello?
Hey, it's just the roofing guy.
No, yeah. No, is this 385 Nighthawk Lane?
Yes.
Okay, this is... Yeah, I'm going to give you the short version today, miss. This was actually the report. I don't know if you guys saw the drones. It wasn't Russia. It wasn't China. You guys probably have noticed a lot of people that have been replacing their roofs in this neighborhood. What I'm doing is a little bit different. Like I mentioned, the people that did replace the roofs, they did not win the lottery. They did not take money out of their checking account. Were you guys homeowners here in February of this year?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if you guys were here during the storm that happened, but it wasn't hail damage. It was more of the wind because you have what's called a 3-tab shingle roof. I don't know if you know, actually, it's easier if I show you. So you guys have what's considered a 3-tab roof.
Yeah.
If you noticed, all the people specifically on Cocoa Court, they got their roofs replaced to kind of like the new technology, which is architectural shingles. That's just because this type of shingles, like probably like 10 or 15 years old. Is that correct?
Yeah, I got it checked out last year though. I don't think there's much damage.
So did you get it checked out before or after February?
Before.
Okay, so that's kind of the concern that we have. And keep in mind, like, I'm not here to sell you anything. I know it's a heartbreaker. I'm just the first step to actually see if there's legitimate damage. But before I explain to you, like, why so many people are doing this, like, I'd first want to explain.
Hey, you want to take a look at this?
Hi, miss. How are you? My name's Taylor.
I don't make the rules, man.
No problem. Hi, miss. How are you? My name's Taylor McCarthy.
Yes.
Actually, like I was mentioning to your husband, the reason I was coming by is a little bit different. This was the aerial imagery that we took after the incident that happened on February 17th. What we did was we had aerial imagery because a lot of these homes suffered what we call
We're having a lot of storms, yes.
Yeah, so it's
but you know the insurance is going to increase, so
look,
we don't really want to do it right
I'm
now.
not before I explain to you all the reasons why you should get involved with the program, I'm actually going to tell you the reasons you would never do it, and ultimately what they're not going to tell you. Ultimately, you guys are the homeowners here, correct?
Yes.
And you guys do own the home, correct?
Yes.
The reason I'm asking that is, well, either way, you know, like you said you have questions, and it's easier if I show you this, actually. So like these are like the biggest questions that I get with families, and I have empathy for you guys because you probably have a lot of people that come and try to talk to you about roofing. What I would propose is a little bit different. What I would propose.
You won't change the roof then, so.
Not necessarily. We have to pick the home. It's a little bit more selective. We would utilize you as kind of like a reference home, because if we're able to go to the new homeowners and say, hey, you have all the new stuff on your roof, we're able to refer back to you. So this is the way that the process goes, right? Mm-hmm. I have to actually look at the roof to see if there's legitimate damage. One or two things is going to happen. I'm going to come back down and I'm going to say, hey, there's no damage. Have a nice day. You guys have the peace of mind to know that you're not going to wait for a leak to replace the roof. Or category 2 is I find legitimate damage. I actually help you stay proactive about the situation. We call the insurance company. You're doing a proactive part on your end. They're going to come look at the roof, and I'm going to prove the damage to them. If we're able to prove the damage, all we want to do is do the work.
So you say that damages is because of the storm, the last
The,
storm?
the problem was more because of wind damage. Like Judy, the lady on the corner, she was a little dramatic. She's the one that has like the new charcoal looking roof. That's what we call the architectural shingles.
Judy, man.
Well, I mean, next to her is George, the guy in the corner. Most people are pretty friendly out here, but she was one of the ones that decided to put on the new roof because she knew the insurance company was taking advantage of her, and she had no other option but to pay insurance for her home.
Of course.
Let me ask you, what's the main reason that you guys have homeowners insurance?
To protect it, I guess.
Okay, because these would be the biggest concerns. Will my insurance monthly cost increase? Yes, it's going to increase regardless because it goes by zip code. All these people already replaced their roof. So it's like you're either paying for them to get their roofs replaced and then you're just going to say, hey, I don't want mine. It's not like the storm did a U-turn around your house. Will my insurance drop me? The only way the insurance company is going to drop you is because of neglect. How do you guys make money? We're just saying if we do the work, we just want to do the work if we can get it approved.
Let me ask you something.
Yep.
If you say that the storm is being causes damages, what is going to happen if I change it and then another storm is going to get damaged as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. The problem is you have what's called a 3-tab shingle roof. The 3-tab shingle roofs are a lot different than these architectural shingles. If let's just say I go up there, right, and there's no damage, I'm going to say, hey, you guys are good to go. Have a nice day. You have peace of mind. I'm off to go see if somebody else has damage. If you have legitimate damage, for example, if you're missing shingles, or if the shingles can just flap without me even touching it and it's just blowing in the wind, when do you think's the number one time people replace their roofs? Like, when do you think is the number one time somebody what do you
Start seeing stains.
people wait to actually replace the roofs? And one thing that I actually noticed, it's easier if I show you. So if you notice just this if you notice the right side of the roof over here, just on this section, that was my biggest concern. Because like with these neighbors' roofs over here, obviously they wouldn't even qualify because they already have the 3D architectural shingles. So like, let me ask you, were you here on that date in February? You kind of know what I'm talking about, where people had did you see debris in the yard? That's my only question. Did you see a lot of debris?
No, and I like it. It's just, it's Saturday at 3 p.m. and I just don't have any time right now.
100%. The hardest part about what I do is timing. I just look for the time when we both have it, because all I really do is I look at the roof. Then I'm going to actually show you the full report. I'm not making. We can't make any sort of decisions today. This isn't a doorstep decision.
Yeah, we have a thing.
No problem. No problem. If you guys have something going on, that's perfectly fine. Like I said, I'm just the first step of this process. So you understand, I can go gather what I need as far as putting together the report. I'm kind of like I'm going to give you an analogy, right? Would you ever go to court without a lawyer?
No.
Okay, all I'm going to do is I'm going to gather the story today.
Okay.
I'm going to have the full story gathered. What's your phone number, actually? I'm going to send you a quick text.
Yeah.
And forgive me, what's your first name?
Alexander.
Alexander, I'm Taylor. So what is your phone number, actually, real quick?
Yeah, it's 470.
470? Okay, perfect. So I just sent you a text that says Taylor Roof with the little sun emoji.
Yeah.
Just so I know that you got that text, can you just send me a quick thumbs up emoji? Because once I get that, I'm going to go grab my ladder. I'll go take a quick look. I'm going to gather all the information that I need today. When are you guys leaving the house? Are you guys going to be here for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
Well, I have to get ready, so...
Yeah.
No problem. I work around you guys' schedule. I work around you guys' schedule, so
yeah.
I could either go one or two options. Option one, I can go up there, I can get all the pictures, and then I could text you and come back at a time that works best for you.
Yeah.
Or option two is once I get all the pictures, I can just come knock on your door and show you real quick, like maybe 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, I think it'd be better if you come back because we got that salsa thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, you guys do your thing. What I'll do is I'll collect all the information, and I'm going to actually start my case today with getting this approved.
Okay.
But my hypothetical question for you, and sometimes people tend to make this a much bigger decision than it really is, but my question for you is pretty cut and dry. Hypothetically, if the insurance company told you have legitimate damage and they would completely replace the roof, and the only thing you would be responsible for was your deductible, I mean, what would you say?
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I know what you're saying
Yeah.
because the roof costs like 10 grand, and if I only pay 1,000, it
Maybe
makes sense.
it's gonna be late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys get going. I'm gonna grab my ladder. I'm gonna go grab everything that I need. I'll put together all the report, and then I'll text you some of the photos. If there's no damage, I'm just gonna text you no damage. And then once I'm able to put together the full report, I can pop by. Are you guys gonna be around tomorrow at all? Like in the morning?
In the morning? Nah, I work in the morning. Man.
Okay, what about later today after salsa? Because I can just drop off the physical report.
Trust me, today, later
Yeah,
on.
we'll probably go to the bar
I
after
won't be
that.
available.
So
She makes me go on
no
dates-
problem.
dates like-
My question is this then. If I was to drop off the physical report, would you guys at least look at it or would you rip it up?
I mean, we would look at it, yeah.
Okay, then what I can do is just figure out a time that works for you. I'm gonna go get my ladder, I'll get everything that I need today, and then I'm willing to move the speed you guys are willing to move. This is a service, and ultimately, if we can get it approved, like there's a chance that they might say no, and I guess how would that make you feel knowing the fact that they all got theirs replaced and like you guys
We
couldn't?
already have his phone number,
Yeah.
so you can send everything and we can set it up. In a
Perfect.
Jody got some number.
How long have you guys been married?
Well, almost 5 years.
5 years? I have a famous question, but I gotta ask it. Who winked at who first?
Me.
You winked at him? Or he winked at you?
No, I went to him.
You winked at him? Well, that's my famous question. What's the secret of marriage?
Well, it's not secret.
There's no secret.
Yeah, I have to be on the command.
And are you guys from this area originally?
No, actually, we're from another country.
What country?
Mexico.
México. Habla español, ¿sí?
Perfecto.
Mi español es muy mal. Blanco, chico blanco, blanquito español. Necesito practicar.
But we still
Yeah, I understand. I'm gonna grab my ladder. I'll get everything that I need today. And then if I can help you, awesome. If I can't, then everything stays the same. And I apologize. I really appreciate the time that you guys gave me. Yeah, I got it. So I'll send you the report. I'll get that completed. Very nice to meet you. Have fun with your salsa dance. That's something I'm terrible at.
Tomorrow at 7, man.
Tomorrow at 7. I'll be back. Okay. I'll be back and I'll just show you guys what it looks like.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless. Yep, bye. All right. Good homeowners. All right, so what's some things that you guys picked up right there, right?
Well, I really liked how, after everything, you were throwing a whole bunch of stuff out there, but you really just got him to agree to at least look at the report, and then that opened up the conversation for at least locking in the.
What was the line I used? If I was to drop off the report, would you at least look at it or would you rip it up?
Yeah, I thought that was so fun.
Fire line. I use that in solar all the time. Because if they say they look at it, what can you continue to do? You can continue to build value. If they're like, I'll rip it up, and they're just like one of those homeowners say, do you have any other questions for me? God bless. I'm out, You know, some do, some don't, so what? Other things that you guys picked up on the Prezi. What are some things you guys picked up?
You brought them outside to look at the roof.
Right, move, right? Getting them physically involved with the process. Anybody else? Feedback?
Very positive towards her attitude.
Yep.
Yeah, you nailed it.
You got to be able to.
As a
different.
homeowner, I can tell until you keep talking and talking, you actually take my attention even if I was an asshole,
Yeah.
I was like, okay. But I remember myself like I'm supposed to be an asshole. So I was like, no. It's very happy with the homeowners as well.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, she's an asshole.
And when people are being mean to you, blame upper management or say, I have empathy for you. I have a lot of empathy for you. I understand. There's a lot of roofers coming out here. But then that's where I'm going to this slick. I'm going to this slick right here, which I think is going to really help you guys, is this one. The slick says what they won't tell you, right? That would create my curiosity if someone knocked on my door. And you guys are the roofing experts, right? I'm the sales expert. I'm not a roofing expert. You guys could tell me more about shingles and granular loss and all that. You guys already have that knowledge, so you can match the technical skills of your product with the technical skills of being, a professional salesman. That's what's going to help get your game to the next level. Yes, sir. But it comes down to one thing, guys. Are you willing to pay do you have the willingness to pay the price?
Yes, sir.
Do you have the willingness to pay the price? With effort, time investment, dedicated sacrifice. You guys have one life to live. If you procrastinate, like we talked about, you ruin your future, you avoid the present, you live in the past. You have the ability to change your life from this day moving forward. and it's thinking opposite. It's thinking reverse, tying your success to the activity on a day-to-day basis. First comes the action, then comes the motivation. I'm rooting for you guys. Be sick and tired of being sick and tired. Be in the point where you say, I'm going to make the main thing, the main thing, the main thing. And start making some plays.
I just have a quick question because I noticed that when they were trying to push away for another time, you did a lot of like takeaway, to not create pressure. But in a lot of those instances though, I always feel the need to like create urgency so that they understand that this is an emergency, that they need to get the roof replaced. Because the storm just passed, you want to take advantage of the fact that the storm had just passed, right? So how do you know when you should be taking away to relieve pressure versus creating urgency and telling them like, no, you need to get this done now. I'm here right now. I can help you.
So great question. How to be able to take it away or to create the sense of urgency. I kind of look at it like we talked about, like being a boxer. There's multiple things that I'm throwing at you until I hit a hot button. Once I can hit a hot button, then I can create more sense of urgency. But when people are starting to, maybe I'm not at the point where I can create urgency, I feel like a takeaway a lot of the time is more important. Because I can say, how many years have you even lived here? I can create curiosity, but I can also create the sense of urgency. Before all these companies come out here and say, we want to sell you this or we want to sell you that, we're utilizing a few guys as references, or what we like to refer to as model homes. It's a little bit more selective, but what we would propose is actually looking at the roof at absolutely no cost to you. And then if we found that there was legitimate damage, we would meet with your insurance company, we would prove the damage, and all we ask is if we can get the insurance company to actually cut you a check for the roof, that we would be able to do the work. So that's something like the way that I would say it. But when I use takeaways, it's more when they start giving me a demeanor of, I don't want to do this. And I'm like, I haven't even picked your home yet. What are you talking about? Right? And then when I'm creating sense of urgency is more so when I have their attention. But when they're more of like defensive, I'm going to take it away. And when they're more of listening, then I'm creating the sense of urgency. That would be my answer for that. Any other questions? Okay, let's go over some takeaways. Did you guys learn some stuff? Do you feel like it was worth it here today? Yeah. We went over a lot, guys. Like I said, we had the challenge of you guys actually programming this stuff into your mind. And there's a lot of information that we went over today. So just understand that this isn't something that you're going to learn in one day and walk out of this door and be a great sales professional. What you need to do is you memorize, you practice, you drill, rehearse, utilize YouTube, utilize all these this workbook, and just say, hey, I want to get really good at this, because when you get really good at this, it will change your entire life, and you can create whatever path you want in your life. And that's the ability and the opportunity that you have. And I'll tell you something right now before I close it out. Do you want me to be nice or do you want me to be blunt?
Be blunt.
Okay. If you don't take advantage of the opportunity that you have sitting right in front of you, you have a professional contract sitting right in front of you right now. How long does the athlete spend to get his professional contract? And does the athlete, like the best player at your high school, was he guaranteed a professional contract in sports? No. What about the dentist, the doctor, the lawyer? If I went to school for 6 years as a doctor, could I graduate and start making hundreds of thousands of dollars? You have to go through residency, right? What about the doctors, dentists, lawyers? They have to practice and study law. The aha moment that I have for you guys right now is every single one of you has a professional contract sitting right in front of you where you can earn whatever you want. And if you don't take advantage of the opportunity, you're being selfish. You're being selfish. You have the ability to earn whatever you want. You're not capped. You're not told you're worth $20 an hour. Your decisions that you make are going to decide your wealth. I can't want it more than you want it. It's up to you to make that decision. Thank you guys so much for having me today.